dumb. All right, people. We're here. I'm going to sideways view this time. That way you can get a slightly better cinematic version of me. You might be wondering why I'm here by myself. And the answer to that is because Chris had something going on in his professional life of which I will not divulge, because that's not what we're here to do, people. Welcome back to the Talkin TV podcast. I am your solo host tonight, the one and only movie nerd. That's right. I'm getting better at the camera tags down there. We're back. It's Friday night. We've got another fun watch along for you guys. Hopefully you guys will enjoy this movie as much as you enjoyed the camaraderie and the banter on our last couple of these things. I'd like to think they've been a pretty big success. I've had a decent amount of fun on each one of them. A few of them did not exactly turn out the way that I thought they would, but hey, that usually makes for some of the best content, is the stuff that you didn't know how it was going to go. I'm the movie nerd. Again, I'm pretty sure I said that already. That's fine. We are the Talkin TV podcast. We're on YouTube. So before we get started, before I bring in the guests and even reveal what it is that we're watching tonight, if you could please leave a like, leave a subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, if you see that little notification thing right next to the subscribe button, if you click that, it'll tell you every time we have a new video up. We put up stuff on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And yeah, it would just be greatly appreciated, you know? So we've got another watch along going on tonight. I don't know. How am I doing so far with this solo hosting? I'm not going to be on for too much longer because I don't like hosting by myself, because it gets really awkward with the awkward pauses and I repeat myself, but that's fine. So people, we got a watch along tonight, and it's about a month ahead of its anniversary. We kind of had a little bit of a recurring trend here with our anniversary watch alongs. And yeah. So wait a minute. Hold on. Someone's hacking the stream. Hold on. Wait a minute. Who the hell are you? You're not Chris. Joe, what are you doing here?
Oh, man.
Did I invite you?
No, I don't know. I think this is a mistake. I got to go.
Oh, good. I think I slipped onto something on accident. Did this zombie bite me? Oh, God. I got to check myself now. Shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already terrifying enough with COVID and everything. I didn't know I had a zombie bite.
Yeah, I thought this was the Office.
Yeah,
review.
Right. No, you probably did. I accidentally send out that Office versus Community debate link too soon?
No, because I denied that one.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. That makes total sense. Anyways, Joe, you're here. What's up, dude?
Happy to be here.
Yeah,
Just hanging out on a Friday evening with you guys.
Oh, man, thanks. I literally texted you like this morning and asked last minute to be like, hey, we had one guy. Chris couldn't be here. You want to be on?
Listen, when I woke up at like 7:30 a.m. and had 23 missed messages from you, I knew that something was up. So I'm happy to be on board.
You were like, hey, I'm totally not being desperate, but I do have a slot to fill.
I was like, fine, whatever. It's quarantine. What else am I doing?
Exactly. Well, look, Joe, whatever the case may be, I'm happy to have you here on this watch along for. What movie are we watching tonight, Joe?
I think we're watching Shaun of the Dead. Is that correct?
Hell yeah, that is indeed correct.
Looking forward to it.
You're watching Shaun of the Dead, month ahead of its 16-year anniversary. Fuck me. Can you believe this movie's 16 years old?
No, it's a little older than you are.
Yeah, little bit. Actually, no, I was about 5. No, I was about 6 when this movie came out.
Oh my God.
Real quick, Joe, how old were you when this movie came out?
I was 18.
Oh wow. Graduating high school. Congrats. That must have been a fun.
Yeah, graduated high school and started college that year.
Wow, that's fun. Well, so Joe, we're not here to watch this movie alone, of course, because it's no fun. I mean, it is when you're on a date, but for the most part, when you're watching a movie, you want to be with a group of people. And we, of course, have a great group of people. It's all returning faces, all guys who seem of force. So let's start bringing them in one by one. Awesome. I was about to say, I would pretend like you have any power in this instance, but
yeah, I'm like,
you don't.
You're controlling this.
So, first, coming in live from Michigan. He didn't actually specify which part, but that's fine. He is Nick of Bearded Film Reviews, and he's got the beard to match the name. Nick, what's going on, dude?
Hey, guys. Yeah, no, I'm actually from Beer City, USA, so in Grand Rapids, Michigan. But, yeah, no, I'm still...
Tell me.
I definitely did tell you. No, I love Shaun of the Dead. I've seen it countless times. Cannot wait to watch it again and experience it with you guys. And as per usual, I'm drinking a beer. Tonight I'm drinking a Founder's Cerise. I don't know how the hell you pronounce it, but it is a cherry ale, and it is delicious.
Nice. I myself am drinking a Blue Moon Belgian White from my local gas station. Yes, let's go. All right, so let's bring in the next guest. He is the one, the only, the guy that has made it a more recent habit of buying a lot of discount DVDs or the hopes of preserving what is left of physical media. He is the one and only David of Flix Talk. David, what's going on, dude?
I'm
Happy to have you here, man.
Thank you so much. And I did find my steelbook.
Yes, there it is. There it is. You guys, this man was looking for, like, kid you not, David, from the horse's mouth to sell 10 minutes just for his steelbook. That is how important this physical media is to this man.
One day I will alphabetically categorize, genreize every single one. But right now I just shove them all into the corner, like in the back there. It's like a random shelf right there of DVDs and Blu-rays. So
that's
the hunt continues. I love them. And I just got a tip. Guys, from my Dollar Tree guy. I have a Dollar Tree guy.
You have a Dollar Tree guy?
I have a Dollar Tree guy.
I knew I quit there too soon. I knew I quit there too soon.
He said, David, I have 16 boxes coming in tomorrow. I don't know when they're going out, but I'm going to let you know. I'm like, I am there. 16 boxes of DVDs. Let's go. Come on.
It's like, and I'm guess what? You don't even have to break store rules by getting one to me for free. I'm going to pay for it because that's how much I care.
Exactly.
Oh, man, David. Look,
happy to be here, though.
Oh, hell yeah. I couldn't think of a better panel. And of course, the one, the only, let's be honest, a majority of us would not be where we are without this guy. I feel like this guy is like kind of like from our own mini sect of the internet is kind of been the one that's made it the farthest, the one that has the most in-depth, the most analytical, the most thought-provoking reviews that I would say. And this man is, oh man, this guy's a workhorse. Holy shit. I don't think I've seen more of a committed guy, a guy who puts more heart and more work into his content than quite possibly anybody else that I know. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only Mr. Elliott of Movie Files. Elliott, happy to have you back, man.
Wow, man. I don't know if I can live up to all that praise, man, but I appreciate it.
Come on. You already have just by being here. Just by being here.
Hey, man, it's a pleasure, man. I always love talking with this panel of people, awesome people. And this is this is the first watch for me. All the watch-alongs I've been a part of, I've seen the movie 3 or 4 or 5 times. This is the very first time I've been a part of a watch-along where I haven't seen the film. So very excited to check it out because I've heard a lot of great things about this movie, but excited to talk about it with you guys tonight.
Excellent. I'm actually really glad that you brought that up because that actually drives me, I guess, because this is why I love having people on to talk to, because if not, I just go on random tangents and I lose track of the points that I'm trying to make. But so thank God that I actually have people to conversate with as far as that goes. That actually wanted to lead me into one point that I wanted to bring up with all of you guys before we actually got this movie going, which is, what is your guys' relationship with Edgar Wright? How do you view him as a filmmaker, and kind of what was your introduction to him? Let's go around, starting with my right. There we go. I got it. Joe, let's start with you. What's your first memory with Edgar Wright? And what do you remember? Like, what was the first of his movies you saw, and like, how did it have an effect on you? I like asking these types of questions.
My relationship with him is we had a really nice night out, had a nice kind dinner over a bottle of wine. Nice. And I didn't
know he stopped in Pennsylvania. I didn't realize that was like along one of the touring routes of one of his movies.
Every once in a while, Shaun of the Dead. He did some research here. Shaun of the Dead was the first movie I saw of his, actually, now that I think about it. And it was one of those that I think I didn't appreciate the first time I saw it as much as it became more of a staple as I watched it more and more. It's a fun film. It's kooky, and I think that the cast lends a lot to that. But not to give much away, I think it's a great watch. It's a fun watch. But it's been great to see his career really flourish and take on some different genres as he moved forward. I mean, Baby Driver is the one that comes to mind. But I'm excited to see what he does in the future.
Absolutely. Yeah. The thing about Edgar Wright as a filmmaker is that he's not a guy that sticks to one genre. And also he's a guy who every one of his movies always feels like a cult hit, but like looking back, like his most recent movie was 3 years ago. And the one before that he did was 10 years ago. Before that was 7 years ago. But then like, I feel like the last like big movie that everyone remembers is Scott Pilgrim, which is 10 years ago. But that was like famously a box office flop when it came out. Now you look back on that movie and you're like, how the hell with that cast alone, as you saw from the 10-year anniversary read, every single person from that cast went on to become a gigantic star. How the hell that movie was a box office flop? So that leads me to my next person, Nick. What was your first Edgar Wright movie that you saw, and what's kind of your relationship, your feeling that you've gotten from watching his movies?
So my first Edgar Wright film is Shaun of the Dead as well. I remember I was in high school, and me and my buddy on our lunch, we would watch movies on YouTube in like 10 different segments, like 20 minutes each or whatever. So we
I
watched.
remember those.
We watched Shaun of the Dead through our lunches, and I fell in love with it. Absolutely loved it, and I've seen all of his movies since. And yeah, his style, his direction, I absolutely love. Every movie, yeah, like it's kind of just this kooky, wild ride, and you never quite know what you're gonna get, but yet you do know what you're gonna get, and I love every single second of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really glad that you brought up that point of like, you know what you're gonna get, but you don't know what you're gonna get, because that's the whole thing, is that Edgar Wright's got a very specific style, but that doesn't always necessarily lend itself to his stories, because I find that even though you become very, very familiar really quick with his styles and beats, it never once causes his stories to feel predictable, which is something that I feel like a lot of other filmmaker, that's a trap that they all fall into. And yes, indeed, David, the beard is strong and ambitious. Absolutely. So I guess that leads us into our next person. David.
I aspire.
David, what is your first Edgar Wright movie that you saw, and what do you think of him as a filmmaker?
Well, it was Shaun of the Dead, like mostly everybody, and I didn't even know. Yeah, it was. I didn't know the name. Obviously, I don't think a lot of people knew what to expect or what to come once they saw Shaun of the Dead. I was just still am a huge zombie nerd. Whether they're B movies, Z movies, A-list like World War Z type of zombie movies, I just love it all. So when I heard that the combination, of horror and comedy, even though it had been going on for a while, I thought it was a cool take. And when I finally saw the film, I thought they perfectly executed it. So it was like night and day. Like I knew I was going to love this movie, and this director was going to go on to, great things. And I think he has been. I mean, even the trilogy, Baby Driver, they have Baby Driver 2 coming out in the future. So it's like, I'm really, the Night in Soho coming up. So it's like, I'm looking forward to a lot of different projects from this director. And he's a young guy too. He's born in 74, 5,
very young,
like that.
Yeah, like was he even? Yeah, he was like, Joe, you said it yourself. Like he was like what, 32 when he made this movie? Well, probably 32 when this movie came out, which meant he was younger when he made it.
Yeah, I think Elliott pointed that out, but that's wild, right? Like it's definitely, especially to have a cult following movie like this that is really stuck around for as long as it did. That's quite the accomplishment.
Absolutely, yeah. And also we got our first fan / collaborator in the comment section. Anke, glad that you're here. Hope that you enjoyed this movie as much as all of us do. And so that leads us to our final panel member before we get to moi, the esteemed host. Elliott, what is your relationship with Edgar Wright, and what do you think of him as a filmmaker from the films of his that you've seen?
Yeah, so only 2 films, Scott Pilgrim versus the World and Baby Driver. Those are only 2 I've seen from him. So it's kind of a blind spot of mine when it comes to his filmography. And it's always been a director that I respect. I know it almost kind of weirdly, probably not the best comparison, but it kind of reminds me of Quentin Tarantino in a sense that a lot of people adore him, and like he has a style, he has a distinct style. It would have been so interesting. I know it'll probably come up in the conversation. Him and his Ant-Man film, it would have been interesting to see him in the MCU and how that would have turned out, knowing his style. So, but yeah, I mean, you said it, Dom, with with Scott Pilgrim, all the cast. I mean, people love him. Everyone, when they talk about Edgar Wright, they say nothing but great things, and he is such a unique director that I'm excited for his next film. Last Night at Soho will be my first time seeing a film of his in the theater, because I didn't see Baby Driver in the theater, nor did I see Scott Pilgrim. So. Yeah, it's like one of these days I'm going to sit down and watch, this is, the first time me going backwards and looking at his first film and then kind of looking at this trilogy that he's made. I'm excited to see his future continue to grow. And I'm a fan of the 2 films I've seen of his so far. And hopefully this will be a third one.
Yeah, definitely. The thing about Edgar Wright is that, specifically with his new upcoming movie, Last Night in Soho, is that that's arguably his first dip into horror since this movie that we're about to watch, Shaun of the Dead, because the whole thing, I mean, this movie's obviously a horror comedy. That movie's going to be more of like a straightforward horror. But the thing about Edgar Wright is, like I was saying before, he's a guy who, despite the fact that you become very familiar with his styles, his beats, there's always a big soundtrack, even when his movies aren't marketed around the soundtrack, because they've got this very good sense of pacing, this good sense of dynamic pentameter. The thing that I've noticed in every one of his movies is that, like, the sense of structure within his movies is so well adhered to, but not in a way that feels kind of like boring or steadfast. Like you if anything, it kind of makes this movie stronger as a result.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny. He just it seems like he's leaning back towards the horror a little bit more because he also just signed on to adapt a short story called Stage 13, which is a ghost story for Netflix. So like Netflix all week, movie news has been Netflix, but that's actually a really interesting one that came out with Edgar Wright doing something for them. So
yeah,
that's super cool to know.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just really interesting. Yeah, and also
maybe it's not Netflix, but the movie's being adapted. I know that.
Well, because they're the only studio that's like actually like thriving now because nobody else can play movies. So, guys, this was a fun little intro conversation, but we're 15 minutes in, and I think that our audience members are ready to see us react to some movies. So, let me just make sure that the volume is turned down on my TV. I probably should have made sure that this was a thing before. Okay, it's good. So, I am ready when you guys are.
Baby's first stream.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm ready when you guys are. I have it on the 000 button. So on the count of 5, we're gonna hit the play button. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
Going. That Universal logo. I'm a little bit disappointed it's not with the pixelated overtone, but you know, you can only ask for so much, and this was 2004. Not 2010, arguably one of the greatest years for movies ever made. It's funny, we always talk about great years for movies, you know, your 82s, your 76s, your 99s, but would you guys put 2010 in there with those couple years as like one of the best years for movies? Because I would.
I'm trying to think of what movies came out in 2010.
Scott Pilgrim, Social Network,
Inception.
Toy Story 3, to name a few, Inception.
Yeah, it was a good year.
Really good year.
It definitely was a good year.
Yeah. Of course, we got the famous studio canal. I love the intro music for this movie too. It's awesome. It perfectly sets the tone immediately. And slam cut. Oh, it's just staring there. Yeah, that's one of the brilliant things that I think this movie does. It's just capturing the monotony of just regular life.
Is that me?
I don't know. It very well might be.
I mean, and right away we were talking about, you know, the certain style of Edgar Wright. I mean, it's just very subtle pan out shots, a lot of zoom ins. I mean, you'll see it throughout this movie if you've seen the trilogy. A lot of the zoom ins, the whoosh, 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 you know, like type of thing. Something that was reminiscent in like Sam Raimi's Evil the Dead, like spot on, dude. Like it's really like got that feel, you know.
Yeah, just like the way it introduces character. And the funny thing, too, is that just like how he uses his dialogue in this movie is like, you want to talk about setup and payoff. First off, in my mind, he's a master at that because every single thing that's set up in this first act is paid off in the last act. But also, it's just that like it's done in such a way that you're like, it makes it obvious about the fact that it's like, yeah, this will be paid off later. And so much of the time that feels like so obvious. But in this instance, it feels like perfectly set, you know? But I could, in a weird way, I could also see that as like being a turnoff for certain people, like maybe when this movie came out.
Yeah. By the way, too, what's her name? Is that Lucy Davis as
Lucy Davis,
Diane?
from Wonder Woman.
Yeah, she also plays in she was Pam in The Office, the UK
British
version.
Office, yeah.
British Office.
Oh.
Was she called Pam in that as well? Because
I don't think so.
I know Jim was like Tim, so it's like
it
kind of switched it a little bit.
Right. Was Mackenzie Crook the Dwight character in that? The guy from Pirates?
I don't know his. Let me see.
I don't think so. His name wasn't Dwight. I know that, but like they were like the only like 4 key players. Like that was when Martin Freeman was in before he was famous.
Yeah, dude, he blew up off that show.
Yeah. It's funny because like all the people in this movie, for the most part, this movie's like half and half. Like people that are like super famous versus people that like didn't become famous. Like, Lucy Davis hit it up later in Wonder Woman, but I haven't seen Kate Ashfield or Dylan Moran in anything since this. Obviously, Simon Pegg, like Nick Frost goes wherever Simon Pegg goes.
They're a great duo. I love them.
Yeah,
Mackenzie Crook, you're right. By the way.
Yeah, Bill Nye, I know obviously is always been a megastar. I'm trying to think who else is in this movie. And then the other thing too that I love is that Edgar Wright's got all those little cameos from like all those British actors that like are friends with him. Like Martin Freeman cameos in this, and he's in like a couple other of his Steve Coogan cameos. A couple other people that I'm currently forgetting off the top of my head. Oh, this opening sequence is
cool. Nobody is wearing a mask.
Nope.
What's going on here?
Yeah, but if anything, you could almost see this as being like emblematic of our future. You know, no one's wearing a mask, and as a result, everyone gets sick.
I'm not convinced that it's not on its way here.
Yeah,
This-
right.
I mean, 2020 has been weird. I would not be surprised if like a zombie apocalypse or like aliens came. So
I'd be actually like, I'd feel okay with it. Like that would be a relief.
Yeah. But
Right.
the
I've
whole thing
watched
is that
enough movies.
but the whole
I
thing
know
is
how
the
to
last time.
survive it.
Yeah,
Does
the
this
whole
not
thing is that the
remind
last
you-
time.
I was gonna say, does this not remind you the style of Zombieland? A little
Yeah,
bit.
Yes
actually.
and no.
As far as the
I can definitely see
intro.
where Zombieland drew inspiration.
Obviously
from
not
this
the rock
movie.
star, the rock element of like the music and stuff of like
No.
Metallica
Like,
and stuff like
that's
that, but just
Very,
kind of like
that's very much an Americanized version of this movie, I would say. But like much more so, like from like every center of the world, where that's much more so like a road movie, where this is more of like a coming of age movie. But what I was saying before is that like the last time that I watched this movie was in film school back in college, pre-COVID times. And the whole thing that my professor pointed out at the time is the fact that the whole thing with the zombies and why kind of we don't notice them at first is because they are kept in the background, both intentionally, but also because the whole point of this, at least for the background element, is the fact that the zombies are supposed to be kind of just us, just like these rambling, monotonous corpses that just go through life and just consume everything. And let me tell you something, the way that this movie plays that up, it's pretty fucking well done, if you ask me.
Oh, for sure.
Also, early Peter Serafinowicz before he lost weight and became very attractive for Guardians of the Galaxy and the Tick. Yeah, this one he's doing his best middle-aged, well, not middle-aged, but broaching middle age, even though he's still relatively young. Look. And like, I love how this movie does it, because this movie, for the most part, these first like 20, 30 minutes are like, in any other movie would be so forced and so friggin' like in your face about it. It's like, oh, Sean, fix your life. Oh, Sean, you're a screw up. Oh, Sean, you're doing everything wrong.
This is also one of those movies that benefits from not having any expectations, right? So it's
yes, absolutely.
It is what it is. They made a fun movie. They did what they wanted to do with it. And Edgar Wright, as a newer director at the time, was able to step in and just drive the ship. And it's not something you get these days a lot without studio interference.
Mm-hmm. That shirt, I got wood. I mean, it's like, don't we all know a guy like that just lives on your couch? And just like,
oh yeah,
yep.
Oh yeah.
And the funny thing is that I guess from a societal standpoint, you can understand where Pete's coming from, but like the way that this movie goes about, and again, this is the brilliance of this movie, is that like, yeah, Pete's still a dick, despite the fact that he's sure society-wise is higher up than Ed. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I would agree. Nick Frost and Simon Pegg are the greatest duo since Rocky and Bullwinkle.
They're
they're really good together. I still want them to make like a modern day movie that's not Paul, but the creation of one of the best jokes in this movie. That no, Sean, I'm sorry. What? Oh, and then he smells the fart. Oh, comes back in a great way later on in the movie.
Spoiler.
Yeah, I haven't seen this yet, man.
Subtle hint. Subtle hint.
You described the scene.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. No, I actually didn't. I just said it comes back in a great way. That was very vague.
Elliott told me he mutes these chats while he's on this anyway. So
honestly, I don't blame him.
I mean, with us talking, I would mute us too.
Great. Like I've been to London many times, and like this.
Hey, look at that BMW
perfectly. Like the way that like. The way that this suburb is set up is like exactly like how my friends over there, how my friend's suburb is set up.
And the one take shot with this, and a little later on, we'll in a little bit we'll see, when, like you were just describing about the film school class, you're entering the day in the life of him, and you get to see him at work, which is like such a very mundane, like boring job. He's just he's just working to pay bills. He's not working in a career that he loves, you know what I mean? And that's like what a lot of us go through day to day.
Right. But like, but the whole thing is that very existence itself is like used in order to like cover the fact that like he doesn't realize that like the next day when he wakes up, there's like zombies everywhere, because like everyone is so bored and mundane that like by the time like shit actually hits the fan, it's like people are still just like wandering around just moaning like they usually do. So like you can't tell it. Like, look here, like the whole point, like could you if all these guys were zombies, would you actually be able to tell the difference?
especially with the technology too that we have nowadays, like with the phones looking down.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and the interesting thing too is that this was at a time where this was 2004, so this was right on the precipice of like technology. Like there was technology, but it wasn't like in your face the way it is now. Social media still wasn't quite a thing yet, you know. So it was still kind of like people were operating like under like a little bit of like a late 90s atmosphere thought process. So this is kind of like one of the last type of environments where this type of a piece could have worked, because I feel like obviously in modern day everything would have to be self-aware, and the fact of like, oh, the minute that people start dropping dead, they would be coming up with a million different conspiracy theories as to whether they were zombies, and there would be think pieces online and secret subgroups debating whether they were actually zombies, and then they would come in and it would just be a whole thing. So this is like kind of the last movie that you could like get away with that in. And also, I'd like to point out the irony of the fact that this came out the same year of Zack Snyder's directorial debut and remake of the original Dawn of the Dead, which this movie's title is clearly parodying.
The guy that's on the screen now, isn't he a actor and lost like a
I'm pretty sure that's Raphael Spall. I'm pretty sure that's a very young Raphael Spall. You might have to check me on that. But
yeah, he looks super familiar.
Yeah, I think it is.
I think it is, because Raphael Spall, he came in the World's End. Is that Raphael Spall?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
What else is he
young in this? Look at how young he is. He was in Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
The Big Short.
Really?
Life
yeah, he was in. Yeah, that's right. He was one of Steve Carell's guys in The Big Short. He was one of the villains in Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. How did he die in Fallen Kingdom again? What dinosaur ate him? I forgot. It was one of the last ones.
Remember that movie?
He's like going into like an evil villain monologue, and I think the Velociraptor came in and just randomly killed him.
Hey Dom.
Yeah.
We need to go to the chat here real quick and talk about how you dislike Hot Fuzz.
Oh yeah, definitely. So you were talking with Ankit. Yeah, so US Ankit, what his favorite of the trilogy is. Ankit's favorite was Hot Fuzz. Okay, first off, I would like to point out, I never said I hated that movie. I said it was my least favorite because I hadn't seen it in a while.
You said
because I watched it in the wrong environment. Don't mince words.
Roll back the tape.
Don't mince my words. Roll back the tape. Yes, that's the thing that we can do on a live stream. No, I said I had to watch it again because I have not seen it because the whole story about Hot Fuzz is I showed it to my brothers thinking that they were going to like it because they don't like anything that I like, and thinking that it was, well, I know that now. I didn't know that back then. And I told them that it was going to be like the funniest movie ever made. And then they watch it and they're like, dude, this is not funny. And I'm like, okay, sure, I guess, peer pressure, group setting. My parents usually side with them over me. So I'm like, whatever. And I haven't watched that movie since then. But everyone has told me that it's great. So I have to go back and rewatch it. But as of right now, where it stood the last time that I watched it, it is my least favorite out of the 4 of Edgar Wright's 5 movies that I've seen. So I hope that clears everything up. Especially for you, Ankit.
I'm starting to remember, I think I watched these movies alone, if I'm being honest. Like, I feel like it's one of those, like, you don't really care if people like them or not. It's just that you like them, and that's the only. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. Now
you guys know why I watch every movie alone,
and that's fine though. But it's one of those. To me, it's one of those like niche demographic movies where you're either gonna like it or you're gonna hate it. But yeah, some people really think that this trilogy is like phenomenal. Some people don't understand it whatsoever.
Yeah,
and that's what I felt with Hot Fuzz and the third film, To the World's End. I remember being in that theater, To the World's End, and everybody was laughing, but at the same time, the theater was not packed whatsoever. So you kind of knew that those people were going in there already knowing this trilogy.
Joe, my question is, who are you referring to with this comment? I'm assuming me.
100%.
For sure, you, okay. Dom.
Just making sure.
So for someone that like me that hasn't seen this trilogy, is there like an interconnectiveness or like little Easter eggs or characters that pop up?
Little Easter eggs. Otherwise, the story itself is not.
It's referred to as the 3 flavors Cornetto trilogy because each movie contains a different flavor of Cornetto ice cream, and then each movie has Simon Pegg and Nick Frost.
Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. That's what I just thought it was. Yeah.
No, it was Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, and then like specifically like Edgar Wright has gone out of his way to say, yeah, it's like the different flavors of Cornetto ice cream. Gotcha. Like that's the scene where he was in the bar in the first, and he said like a certain type of he just said like Ed later on asked him to go get Cornetto ice cream.
Because like I knew Cornetto ice cream was in each movie. I didn't know it was a different flavor though in each one.
Yeah. Oh, this background scene is hilarious.
His facial expressions in all of his
it's
movies
great. And like
are
all these different
literally
little
phenomenal.
close-up, quick editing techniques. It's great.
I think it's my first introduction to Simon Pegg too. I don't remember seeing him in anything else before this.
You haven't seen the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies?
Say it again.
You haven't seen the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies?
Well, that was after these, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
No, but I'm saying my first time was seeing.
Oh yeah.
Seeing him was in this movie.
A lot of people's mainstream.
There is a movie that not a lot of people talk about with Simon Pegg. Have you guys seen Burke and Hare?
No.
So Burke and Hare, it used to be on Netflix, and so the premise is that Simon Pegg and his buddy, they find this dead body, right? And so they sell it to a college. And because they're poor, they then decide to murder people to sell the bodies to the college. And it's this kind of cat and mouse game between them and like the police then, and I think it's hilarious. But yeah, should definitely check it out.
He also has a movie that I feel a lot of people didn't check out, where he's like afraid. What do they call it? Acrophobia? What's that?
Yeah, phobia? Where you can't sleep, right?
Agoraphobia.
No,
agoraphobia.
It's agoraphobia, where you can't be outside, like the fear of people, being around people, I guess.
The fear of everything. The fear of everything.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Oh yeah.
I like that one. I feel like a lot of people didn't watch that either.
And what's the other one where he's like a hitman?
Oh, I actually
was
picked
that
that up
one
on
with
a Dollar
Margot
Tree.
Robbie? the one with Margot Robbie? That one?
Yes.
Yeah. What's that movie? The
I
Terminal.
Really enjoyed that. No.
Not The Terminal. What the Terminal?
Yeah, no, like he's a hitman, and it's so good.
Hitman in that? Oh man,
I don't think it's Terminal, but I gotta Google it in a second.
Oh man, another great form of setup. He's like, yeah, do you want me to climb the thing? Screw it, I'll do it.
I think I picked it up recently at a Dollar Tree, like on Blu-ray.
Simon Pegg, Hitman.
David continuing his exploration.
Kill Me 3 Times.
That's
okay. Got it. That makes more sense.
Oh, Luke Hemsworth is even in that. Okay.
Ooh, I'll have to watch
According to Brian Bebby, Hot Fuzz was the first movie he saw by himself. Well, I mean, there are worse movies to see for the first time by yourself.
100% easily.
My first movie that I saw by myself was The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen with Sean Connery. Hey, I will still stand by that. I will still stand by that movie. I feel like if that movie had been even for that movie being as neutered as it was, there was still a lot to enjoy about it. There was still like a lot to enjoy about that movie. It was some dumb fun.
Have you watched it recently though?
No.
There's a reason I refuse to rewatch it.
Yeah, it's a challenge to get through these days. I liked it a lot when it first came out,
especially with the effects. Yeah,
but it did not hold up.
No. From the director of Blade, too. There's a reason why that guy could only get an R rating. The first Blade.
Don't they make a reference to this guy looking like Harry Potter?
No, he just says "get fucked 4 eyes," which is one of the greatest lines I've ever heard.
Maybe I just thought that. Oh yeah.
Yeah, right
this guy's a grade A tool.
Maybe that was like the Mandela effect.
He's a twit.
Yeah, literally. All right. Bathroom break. Be right back.
You've had what, half a beer?
2 beers. 2 beers.
2? Oh wow, I'm proud of you.
Are you guys into these like higher end spoofs of horror movies or other types of properties? And the reason I say higher end is like I think this is a little more intelligent than obviously like scary movies and not another teen movie and stuff.
Yeah, like those I don't really care for. Like, I mean, I remember growing up when I was really young, I thought Scary Movie 3 was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
We were just talking about that. Yeah.
But like other like, it's not a spoof, but like Cabin in the Woods, I think did it right.
Yeah.
Like in how they were able to mash everything together, but yet it's still kind of a parody.
You have to do
thing, you know.
You have to do it right because going back to the horror comedy genre, I remember going with an ex to see Warm Bodies, and that was one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. Like I was not expecting that.
I liked Warm Bodies.
I
didn't know what
I knew that was going to be shit. I refused to even watch it.
I was like, they just shit on the zombie genre for me. They just shit on it. So I really hated that.
Chris!
Thanks,
Chris is here!
Wow, Chris.
Yes!
So, hey, how about that? How about this? Criticize me when you can actually show up to your own goddamn show. How about that? And yeah, the answer to that, Brian,
Chris,
is
come back.
Chris, my gosh. Chris, I'm so happy you're here, bud.
everything here.
Oh my
quick.
word.
Everything
Chris,
hits me quick. I have a
missed you.
bladder about that size.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
I'm on
What?
4 right now.
Oh man.
Dude, this
Hey,
impression
guys,
is
from
Uh,
his own words, wish he could have made it, but duty calls.
Chris, totally understandable, man. You gotta do you, buddy.
The jukebox. Oh, the source of one of my favorite moments later on in this movie.
Yeah.
With this
It's
movie.
so good.
It's on random. I love
Ah,
that.
shut up.
Random. I'm not spoiling anything. You guys,
No, you're
you
fine, you're
Nick,
fine.
learn the difference between spoilers and not spoilers.
It's fine.
I'm being very
Uh,
vague here.
No, you really are. You really are. I'm just giving you crap, man.
I'm being very, very vague.
Nick, how
You
much?
are.
Nick, how much did this piss you off that you can't be at a bar right now having a drink or some shots?
Oh
and-
my gosh, it
Oh,
sucks so
Don't
bad.
remind me.
And I'm not a hardcore drinker, but it's just something about like every couple weeks just going out with
Yeah.
some friends like to a bar.
Well, see,
Same.
so
Shit.
what I do
I
is me and my coworkers every Thursday, we go to a different brewery together. We just hang out, have dinner, and just chill and relax as friends. In fact, I haven't been able to do this for like 6 months.
Today's
or
Friday.
however long it's been. Sucks. Yes, today is Friday.
Frisky Friday, I would say.
Cheers to Frisky Friday, boys.
That's right.
All I'm gonna say to that is this: I don't usually ever go out to a bar, but when I do, I go out to a bar.
That does not.
All I'm gonna
surprise me.
say as far as that goes.
I love the story, the backstory that he gives everybody at the bar too.
Oh, it's great.
It's so
I love
funny.
this. And he just making up random shit about everybody. I love that. That's definitely one of those moments that he was just like, okay, just improv. Just fucking improv. And he did.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, well, the shit about the barman is actually true. Then the infamous Pavlov's gun technique is going to be brought up soon.
I think we had talked about this in Elliot's watch for Spider-Man Far From Home about how Ned was like, he seemed like a real homie, right? I mean, these guys seem like real friends.
Yeah,
like,
this
off
is
screen,
like,
you know?
I think there was definitely something to be said though about like obviously like modern day Gen Z high school hangouts as opposed to like 04 like
Hangouts.
almost 40 something bar hangouts. Like
Give me the
there
bar
is like a
any day.
definite difference. Oh, and this mode is great here. It's like get a life, yeah, be dead, boom.
Dom,
Zombie
are you
slams
one
up
of those-
against.
Are you one of those people that just recites the entire movie the
Yes,
entire time? we're
yes,
watching
I
it?
am. Yes, I am. I'm glad that you finally picked up on that, Joe. It took you long enough. You should have seen me the last. You should have seen me the. You should have seen me the. You should have seen me the last time I watched Infinity War. Oh man.
Oh man. But this just comes down to clever
Brian, I'm
writing.
jealous.
I mean, people
Brian,
people
I'm
are,
jealous. I just wanted to
Yeah.
let you know.
That's awesome.
yeah, it is hard to talk about it because Elliot hasn't seen it, but I mean, it's clever. To, they're over there drunk, just like singing white lines, and
Yeah.
people are like getting eaten in the back. Like it's just it's so funny. Like it's really clever writing.
It's so perfect, dude. I love
Yeah,
it.
it's amazingly well written. Just from a screenplay standpoint, you're like, this is one of those scenarios where it's like, yeah, you're like, this had to have been thought up beforehand. Like, there's the amount of detail that goes into every frame of this movie. Like, this scene alone, it's like, come on, man.
I listened to the soundtrack just in preparation today for this movie. It's a really good sound. Oh my god, dude, this scene is so
Spitting
hard.
This, spitting dicks at 4 in the morning.
Yes!
Let's
I
go.
love this.
Let's go. Oh man, this scene was great. He just comes in and he breaks the record.
What a dick.
Second album he ever bought. Dickweed.
Saturday.
It's like, it's Saturday. No, it's fucking Sunday. Oh.
You know.
Once again, we've all been in those situations that had friends that come in at like 3 in the morning, just drunk and yelling and shit.
And did you guys notice how Ed said we split up with Liz?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, not him, not Shaun. No, we split up with Liz.
Wait a minute. What happened to your hand?
Wait, what?
They haven't said it yet, but there's a bandage on his hand.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me. I'm like,
No. I'm like, I don't think there's anything wrong with your hand, except for that it has a beer in it. But you know,
that's not wrong. That's a good thing.
Oh.
Ooh, ouch.
Your fucking life. Oof. I've had that line pointed at me way too many times. Oh, that one.
What's up with your hand?
Mugged by a couple of crackheads. Yeah, sure, they were crackheads. And they bit you.
Why did they bite you?
Yeah. He's like, I've got a splitting headache. Oh, boy.
I love what they say to him later.
It's not hip hop, it's electro.
Oh, so
Prick.
prick.
Next time I see him, he's dead. That's great.
Oh, it's so good.
Sorry, Elliot is probably hating this right now. He's like, I can't even pay attention.
No, you're
Man,
fine.
I can't
I'm
even
reading the
fucking enjoy this
subtitles.
movie.
To be
Yeah, me
fair,
too.
Elliot should know, and I'm sure he does know that he's gonna have to actually rewatch this and
Yeah,
himself to get
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
But yeah,
To get the
Yeah,
full
this
feel.
is already better than like an Inception. Where with Inception, it had been like 5 years, like 3 years since I'd seen that movie. This movie, I'm like, I just rewatched like 2 years ago, so I pretty much know. I was even reading some of the screenplay earlier in the day just to familiarize myself,
Yeah.
and I'm like, yeah, this is fucking great.
I was there for the Inception one, wasn't I? I think I was.
Well, you were in the comments section, yeah.
Okay, that's what. Okay, I knew I was there in
Yeah,
some.
you were in the comment section, definitely. Problem is that the first half of that was really talkative and chatty. Second half of that, once the action kicked in, not so much.
Yeah, it kind of died down a little bit.
It really did. It really freaking did. Oh boy! So they woke up the next day.
At like 9 in the morning.
Here
yeah,
we go. This is like the first moment of like the brilliance of it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Same
so
camera
good.
tracking, same film technique, but something's off.
Mm-hmm.
But is it us, or is there actually something wrong in the movie? Only you can decide.
I love how just because he's so hungover, he's not really paying attention. Like,
Exactly.
Right. Around
That's, that's the brilliance of it.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
he does it so well because he does this every single day, so he doesn't pay
Right.
attention to anything that's going on. And yeah, it's brilliant.
And boom. Yeah, there was even some subtle stuff in the script that I picked up.
I love it.
Look, oh, this is great. Doesn't even notice the bloody handprints. I love it. It's so good. It slips over like blood and then slightly pans out to reveal like the dead body that's just lying there.
Oh my gosh.
Or the zombie pokes his head out.
Yup.
Dom, can we get
No,
a time
sir.
check?
Oh, yes. We are at 42. Let me check.
We're
About
42 minutes
27.
into this already?
We are at
27.
27. We are at 27 minutes.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, holy crap, this movie was
We
longer
just
than I thought it was.
We just hit 27 minutes. Oh, this movie's only an hour 40. That's
Yeah,
a
that's
crazy
what I
thing. This
thought.
movie's an hour 40. It's not even a full 2 hours. There's a cornetto, by the way. The cornetto.
By the way, am
ice
I the
cream.
only one that opens up cans with my teeth? Like, I feel like.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
you-
I do that
okay.
sometimes.
All right.
I do that sometimes.
Especially when I have like multiple things in my hand, I'll just be like, bust that
Yeah.
open really quick.
Definitely.
David, I have to ask though, like cans or bottles?
Look at that. He passed
Oh
that
God,
guy.
I can't do a bottle. No.
Okay, just making sure that you're not some crazy.
No. I
Yeah,
have
that's
seen
shit
people
with
open-
Channing Tatum.
Dude, I saw
Oh.
a guy.
Like Channing Tatum.
I saw a guy one time open a beer bottle with his eye socket.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. He stuck it in there.
No, that
Somehow
is no real
turned it.
thing.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was, God damn.
I saw that. Just saw Channing Tatum do that in 22 Jump Street, and I was like, okay, that's some bullshit. Nobody can actually do that.
It was probably already loose. I don't know.
Ugh.
Really, Joe? Tell us why Kong was. a
I
challenge to
actually
get through.
didn't mind
I know.
Strong Skull
I know why
Island.
that movie was a challenge to get through. Nick, I will say this: you have a beard that almost matches the director of that movie's beard.
Mhm.
Because
Which,
that director
which
has got
doesn't
a
get to the
beard.
point of why I struggled with the movie, but I just didn't enjoy it. There was
Yeah.
It felt a little convoluted and like it was trying to be two different types of movies, like a monster
I agree. It
com
was
movie
very
and a
tedious.
war
That's
movie.
fair. That's totally fair.
Very
Like, I mean,
tedious and very overly long. It's
yeah,
like
and
they were
like,
trying
I'm
to be
not
this
saying it's like a
serious war
masterpiece
movie.
or anything, but like I enjoyed watching it.
It's a beautiful film.
I enjoyed my time with it.
Yeah, really good looking movie.
looks
Visuals
gorgeous,
were
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Action was awesome.
But back to this film a little bit. This is my favorite scene
Yeah.
of the movie.
Yes.
I love this.
It's a very
I
cool
love
one.
this scene. This whole sequence that happens next is great.
Oh,
Just like
it's
the-
amazing.
The makeup department
like-
with the zombies looks really good too, by the way.
Yeah, I
like,
agree.
Oh,
this
yeah.
movie was definitely very self-referential because it starts off with like Nick just like wrapped in a curtain, and it's like, oh yeah, there's
Oh, she's hungover. No big deal.
Yeah,
like,
because
she's
it doesn't
totally
really
drunk.
look like your traditional zombie. I mean, some people look different than
No,
others,
they
obviously,
don't.
but it looks like she's just sick, you know?
Yeah, she's
Definitely a vastly different intro. And what's funny is I'm pretty sure that the Walking Dead TV show pulled from this sequence specifically for their opening scene. But like
She wants to
obviously from a
settle.
much more dramatic standpoint, because it's like almost the same setup. They like see the girl, her back is turned to them, then she turns around.
Oh yeah,
But
you're right.
But what? Yeah, but when Rick sees her, obviously she's like very clearly like, yeah, this girl's not
Yeah.
like alive, and this is just this girl just looks hungover, she's pale and shit. Their first reaction is like, oh, quick, let me get a picture.
The main
Oh,
turn
man.
don't believe this. Yeah, dude, let's
Yeah,
get a
right?
picture.
And they're like, look, you based on your
Mary?
name tag. Yeah, the fact that she's still wearing her name tag, like nobody actually until this, and they're like,
Can you imagine? Like,
"Oh."
I mean, that blood did not hold up. That was bad.
Right.
But like,
But-
can you imagine like
and
if
she
you
gets
thought
up.
you like that was a normal person, you did that, and she like
Yeah.
killed herself.
right.
I'd be
But then,
freaking
like-
out.
But if anything, that's what makes this even better because they're like, yeah, obviously, no way in hell they'd be able to do that to a regular person.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I love it when movies do this. They're staring right through a person.
Yeah.
Oh man,
He's clicking up the camera again.
no, dude, no.
He slaps it out of his hand. Like I feel like this is
This is not the
Ed
time for
and
this.
him are like me and my best friend. Like this is something
Yeah.
we would do.
Then another person wanders in. They're like, yeah, something's
Yeah,
up.
we're effed.
Not quite. Right now, they're in the trying to figure shit out phase.
Yeah, call an ambulance. That'll help.
Yeah, right. When the phone lines are currently becoming disconnected and the TVs could barely like keep on service.
Hey, Dave, I saw you did a trailer reaction for their next like TV show. How was it? Can you hear me, David?
Yeah. Did everyone
was
just kind of like
Ash.
refresh right now for a second?
Nope.
Or-
Nope.
No,
Then it must have just been me. Then
might
it
have
just been
a you
It's
thing.
not me tonight.
Hey,
Yeah.
Joe!
It's my $100 internet I pay per month. That's supposed to be so great, but it's not. That's great. I
What
love it.
service do you
I love
have?
getting screwed. Spectrum. I
What
love getting
service?
screwed.
Spectrum.
I have
is-
Spectrum too.
Well,
boy.
they hate me.
I
I don't know.
again, I love the background stuff. Like, because the whole thing is that like every other traditional movie would just like have you only focus on the subjects, and then the next minute they just use the background stuff for like a jump scare. But Edgar Wright brilliantly has that as part
That
of the
scene!
I
love that.
love their reaction there. And then how he just raises his hand like, "Woo!" and he just gets up and then just starts throwing shit. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. Threw the
See,
pillow at him.
this is my house. I'd have a gun under the couch, a gun in the bookshelf, a gun in the
my
kitchen.
God.
and
Yeah,
then
but this is
slap.
great. But this is Great Britain, and they're very anti-gun. So
Oh, that's true. That's my bad. That's
Yeah.
my bad.
and he's still got the "I got wood" shirt on. He's like, he's still scowling at him.
He's just staring at it.
He's just staring at him the whole
I love it.
time. He's like, Ed, come on. Oh, they're like, oh boy. They're like, no. They're like, come on, we don't have any other weapons. Oh, I really
Fuck
wish I'd
the
read
man.
the script.
Fuck the man.
Fuck the man. They're breaking through the windows. They're like, yeah, get the records.
Not that one.
They're like, screw it. Removing the head or
And this
attacking
is
the brain.
total.
Right,
This is total
right.
paying homage to old school zombie movies.
Oh,
By
yeah.
the way, always,
Oh, yeah,
always showing it on
absolutely.
TV and stuff. I love that.
Night of the
Yeah.
Living Dead. Yeah.
Right, with the
absolutely.
Dawn of the certain influences for Dawn of the Dead. Although
Yeah.
the decision to again, this is where the British stuff of it comes in.
Mm,
The decision to have the majority of the action take place, obviously, in a major shopping plaza, but obviously this time in a center for like British center for like a pub as opposed to an American shopping mall. They're just throwing shit at them and nothing works.
And I love how the zombies are just slow shambling zombies.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, even though the movie's and this is the thing I appreciate, even from the first time I saw this movie, back when I didn't really know what movies were, which is the fact that like, even though this is a comedy, it still doesn't shy away from the intense zombie stuff. Like, in a weird way, like I feel like Zombieland, which is a much more widely known, which was a much more widely seen movie at the time, the Zombieland wouldn't have worked without this movie, to me.
I agree.
Well, and this movie, yes, it is a horror comedy, but it has its like serious, like actual like, horror moments. You know, like stuff actually happens. It's not just hey, we're a comedy movie with blood and guts.
And that was also like a specific dig in American culture, like Batman, the album, throw it.
Dude, my dad used to play that album almost every weekend.
No way, really?
Yeah, he loved Prince. He fucking loved Prince, dude.
Oh, that's amazing.
And most people have said that like that's the part of the movie that like holds up the least.
What, this?
Oh, man.
No, the Prince album track in Batman.
It was like okay. I thought you said
which is interesting to me because the Prince songs were only used for like 2 scenes in the movie. I thought.
Yeah, it didn't make it was out of place for sure.
Yeah. Oh, then they just like screw it. And then another thing that comes up later: Shaun breaking through stuff.
Yeah, and that's in the whole Cornetto trilogy, and I love it.
Yeah, that's in every Cornetto movie.
I love it.
Funny. It's like
I thought this was
Simon
a cool.
Pegg
This is a cool scene. That was a cool scene
totally
too.
nonchalant, and Shaun just has that gaping, open look on his face.
There's that Cornetto.
With the mug in his hands. This movie never stops being British, and I love it. Oh God! And then they're with the bite. They're like, "Oh fuck, Pete."
But it also shows you that they're just regular guys that don't jump to like automatically killing the zombies because they're just normal people. Like they start throwing stuff at it first, you know, and then they resort to smashing it, you know, smashing them to bits, pretty much the head.
I never actually really thought of that, David. That's a really good point. Yeah, it kind of like humanizes them a little bit, you know.
Yeah, for sure, because these are supposed to be just normal, you know, working guys or whatever, slackers. So
right. No, that's a really good point. I
love that line.
So good. So freaking good. Right in the constant fast editing. Like this movie really is like a perfectly paced movie too. Oh, I know there was one scene. It might be in here, it might not be. Actually, no, I think it is where they like go up to the bathroom and they see Pete in the corner.
Yeah,
he's a zombie
in the shower.
Elliot, I hope that wasn't a spoiler, but I thought that was pretty obvious.
You guys are fine.
Like zombie.
I'm not a big like spoilers don't bother me at all. If I'm being honest, so
that's good.
You're fine.
You're one in
that case, Elliot, let me tell you the ending of the movie.
I was about to say, Nick, I don't want to hear anything else from you for the entirety of this video. For the entirety of this video, Joe gives you shit regularly, so he gets a pass. But you,
no more shit from me, Dom. I promise, buddy.
Thank you. They're like, Barbara, we have to talk to Barbara.
Phil.
By the way, the mom is like the mom is one of my guilty pleasure like favorite characters in the movie.
Oh, here we go. They're like, go.
She's so great, dude.
Kill Phil. Bye, Philip. Boom. Get mom out of there. Drop some lizards.
She's just like laughing, like smiling.
Have a nice point until all this is over. I'm like, well, what Liz is? Question though, because Liz was obviously on an like a multiple story building, and it would have taken the zombies a long time to get there. Might have actually been a better idea if they had stayed at Liz's as opposed to going.
But they don't. Okay, Dom, yes, but they don't have beer.
True. Human vices. Like, all right, get the car, grab mom, kill Phil.
Can I drive the drag?
Go to Liz's, get Liz, go to the wind, come back to our place, have a nice point.
I love that every single time.
It's so good. Like the use of montages. And this is great.
And I like how it's like clearly just like jelly jam on the shovel.
Right? Oh my God.
Like, look at it.
Oh man, that was a great point out. But it works.
It only works so well. I love it.
Because they're British and they love jam. Go to the
what
Winchester.
What was the budget on this, guys? Do you know? Okay.
I don't
I'm
remember,
sure.
but it
That's a
was
good
not
question. Somebody
big.
look that up.
Very limited amount of locations.
You
Even
looking it
with
up,
actually
Elliott?
the zombie stuff,
Yeah, it's
Like, it's mostly all
6.1
make-
million.
Wow.
That's
okay.
very low.
Wow.
That's impressive, though.
Very
Yeah.
well done.
It just shows how good Edgar Wright was. I mean, Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg had worked on something before this. They
Okay.
did that show Space.
I was just
I
saying
know
the
that.
show, and that's where they got a lot of their zombie extras. Was from they put a casting call to the show fans, and a lot of the fans are the zombies in this movie.
Right. That makes sense.
I like. I can't neglect that they say don't point out the Z word, because in zombie movies they never say zombies. You
It's
guys
true.
ever notice
They
that?
never say. They
They-
always have like another word for it.
Yeah, it's always like
It's
some
the-
kind of some kind of
Yeah.
like unknown thing that they don't,
Mhm.
that
The
we've
only
never heard about.
time in a zombie themed thing that they used the word zombie was episode 6 of season 2. Yeah, Joe's already shaking his head.
How do you know this?
Community, epidemiology. Because Nick, I am me, and I have watched that show enough times to know
I
this.
am me.
Oh,
We've
boy,
already
here we go.
established that he has terrible taste, so that should tell you.
This
everything you
is
need to know.
this is the scene.
Joe,
Oh, boy,
cheers.
the shadow. He's like, shit.
Once again, all the callbacks
Oh,
to like the
no.
beginning of the movie.
Yep.
Joe, was that the
Callback. Set up
shot?
and payoff.
It's a little whiskey.
Set up and payoff. Amazing.
What
Even
was it?
no, that was the same shot. That was the exact same shot.
Yeah.
Are you drinking whiskey, Joe?
Mhm.
My
I
man,
am.
what is it?
Jack.
Oh, okay. Right on.
Ooh.
It's been a rough week.
Yes.
Hasn't it been? I was
I'm
just
not-
looking at it too. I was
It
like,
has been.
for some
It
reason,
really
this
has been.
this week in
This
particular
week
was
was-
kind of a rough one.
You know what's
it
crazy?
was.
Like, David, hearing you say that too, it's so funny. Like, everyone that I've talked to, like even at work, people are like, what the hell happened this week? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I felt
Yeah,
it for
no,
sure.
for real.
It was
I'm
one
not
of those
like,
weeks.
like
Oh,
next
wow.
week for me is going to
Even
be
the
so
zombie
rough.
soccer kid, even the zombie soccer kid,
Zombie
had
stalker
time.
kid.
you're like
him in the head.
3 or 4 seconds ahead of me. So every time that you speak dumb, I want to like strangle you.
You're welcome. Hey, Joe, let's be honest here. How is that any different from any other one of these types of things
Oh
that we
my
have?
gosh, I love
Your
it.
lips to God, it's ears.
Like, fast racing time. And that's an actual car. So you knew that they had like a dolly guy and a guy that was pushing a dolly as fast as he could.
Oh,
They were
for
trying to
sure.
track in his car for the wides. Oh boy, and the corpse in the bag that's still
Yeah, I
waking
love
up.
that.
Oh man, all
The-
these little tidbits. It's great.
This reminds me of the opening of Dawn of the Dead, the remake, the one in like 2000 and what was it,
2004, this same year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Came out
Yeah,
the exact
yeah.
same year.
Another
You get
great
a-
movie. But
You get a lot, yeah. You get a lot of those shots, like things coming to life, or like people getting chased by
Right.
zombies. It's like it's cool seeing like things around you happening.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I love this too. Like, are you okay? When it's like
Are you
brushed it
okay?
off.
It's like, are you a zombie? That's something
Are
that
you a
this
zo-
movie never really established, because in a lot of other zombie properties, they always say that you come back as a zombie regardless of whether you get bitten or not.
Are you a Zed?
But this movie, I don't think really established that per se.
I think it's you just don't want to get bit.
They're like, oh fuck it, keep going.
Oh,
Oh, thank
for
God.
that.
Oh boy. They're like, the Cadillac. Is that a Cadillac?
No, it's a Jaguar.
Jaguar. That's right. The Jaguar.
Yeah, and they're pieces of shit. Let me tell you what. I work for Jaguar. I can say that.
Oh, I was about to say, I'm like, this is a guy, big man from Detroit, so
No,
he
no.
knows the cars.
I work for foreign cars. I work for BMW, Mini Cooper, Range Rover, and Jaguar. And Range Rover,
How do you
Jaguar
feel,
are
how do
not
you feel
good.
about Volkswagens?
Volkswagens are fine.
Okay, good. I have a Volkswagen.
Yeah, I have no issue with Volkswagens. Volkswagens are great.
I have a Kia, and it's.
I
brand
hate you
new.
so much.
I hate Kia. I hate my car. I want to get rid of it.
Okay,
as soon as possible.
okay. Never mind. Then we're good, Dom. We're good.
I fucking hate my car, dude. Like, and here's the thing: it's not even the car itself's fault, but like, dude, not even 3 weeks into having that thing, and the
User
engine
error.
died because the fucking moron mechanic at the dealership didn't put the oil pin all the way. So as I was driving to school, that thing was leaking oil out the whole time, and my brand new car that I'd only had for 3 weeks died on me, and I had to get the engine replaced.
Well, I mean,
I
yeah,
was
when you can get a brand new car for $10,000, I mean, yeah, that's saying something. But
Still, as far as like just pricing goes,
yeah, no, I will never buy a Kia.
yeah, as soon as I get a chance, I'm getting rid of that freaking thing.
That's funny because I almost did like 10 years ago.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
I will go Subaru and pay the extra amount of money.
Subaru is great, but I do like my German cars though.
Yeah,
I've had.
Subarus are
I was
extremely
Honda.
reliable.
I was Honda, and then this is my favorite vehicle, and Nick's gonna like shit his pants here. I had a Pontiac Aztec.
Oh, of course you did. Did you have the tent?
No, I didn't. That was extra. But to be honest, the car itself drove wonderfully.
Okay.
But it was just like a weird looking car. My dad always said that. He's like, weird fucking car, but drives nice. But then I had 2 Jettas after that, and
they're great.
When they redesigned the Jetta in, I guess it was like 2014-ish, 2013-ish, I was not into it. So I got rid of that, and I had a Jeep for a couple years, and I was like scratching that itch of wanting a Jeep, and once I had it, I was like, nope.
No.
So I went back to a Volkswagen, and I love it.
No, yeah, Volkswagens are great cars.
So the thing here is that they said that, like, did they say that Philip had been bitten in this scene or no? Because he gets bitten again later. Like,
no, I don't think they do. I don't think it's this scene.
They don't really specify it.
How do each of you think you would fare in a zombie outbreak?
Oh, phenomenal.
I'd like to think that I'd be really good, but the truth is I just bar up in my house until I either starved to death and was forced to go out to get food, and then I know I would just get eaten. Like,
Dom, you would be gone in a heartbeat, so you're out of this.
Yeah, I would be like one of the first people eaten. Like, no
Nick,
question.
I totally agree with you on that. I think you do really well. Elliot and David, what about you guys?
I think I do pretty well, to be honest with you. I've moved like I'm very I can adapt to my situations pretty quickly. So yeah, I think I'll be all right.
I think we all like to say that we would do well.
Yeah,
but
David, speaking the truth here.
Into that,
I'm good.
In that situation, the fear will take over. But I think when it comes down to natural instinct, I think we will do what we have to do to survive, right?
Yeah.
But I think initially we're probably going to run and then hold up somewhere. But then, our next instinct is going to be we have to fight to survive, right? So, but I think after that would probably be the smart, logical moves of like food. Like, what are we going to do to ration food? Like, where are we going to hold up shelter wise? Transportation, things like that, or whatever. Because it's always like do we go on an island? Do we go on a 30-story building? Like, where's the safest spot to go to when there's a zombie outbreak? And it's like so many different things get thrown out, but.
See, I think I would just like sacrifice myself and just go after everyone. Like, that's assuming I still have my wits about me, but I would go after the people that piss me the hell off, and I would bite the shit out of everyone.
Oh, okay. Wow. I was wondering where you were going with that.
like a purge type of situation.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, all those are off. You're dead.
Yeah. I've been waiting for this day.
We also have to specify too: are they the running zombies or the slow-moving zombies? Like,
that is a big difference.
We'll find out in 2 months.
Yeah, right.
The way we're moving.
Yeah, right. We'll find out real quick.
Obviously, I'd rather have the slow zombies.
I'm running down to the closest marina, finding myself one of the Hawaiian like an isolated island, clearing out all the zombies that are left on that island if there are people there, and then just fucking like making that my place.
Yeah.
Have you not seen the 2004 remake?
Yeah, I mean they leave it off on that note, but
yeah, but that was only one island. That's the thing. Yeah. There are many other islands out there.
No, I do think that's a smart bet, though. In all honesty.
Yeah, that would be the ideal.
Especially if you can like grow crops, or if it has like fruit trees or something like that. Yeah, no, that is a smart bet.
Yeah. I think also too, we were talking back when I was doing the Train to Busan watch along, is that zombies can't swim, right? Or something, or they can't.
Yeah,
right. Was it something like that, right? Or something
like that.
Walking, but the whole thing is the swimming involves like a higher point of brain dexterity that I don't think that like the zombie brain, whatever's left of it, is capable of doing.
Mm-hmm. Like, but can they still walk underwater?
Well, like the zombie
that's what
brain
it was in Dawn of the Dead, right? The 2004 remake when they were on the bottom.
They think. I think you're thinking of Day of the Dead. You may be thinking of Day of the Dead. They did that.
Am I? Okay.
See,
Yeah,
I
that
always
was
go
also
back
George
to like.
Romero.
See, I always go back to like White Walker mentality, which is that like the White Walkers obviously were unstoppable until they got to water, and for whatever reason they were like they just like fell into the water. I think it was because it was too dense for them to be able to walk through efficiently, and like by the time they would get to where they needed to, it's that too much of their bodies would have been disintegrated because they are still rotting corpses, and water does still cause them to disintegrate faster than they would if they were living.
Right.
That's fair.
That makes sense.
You know, that's just where my brain goes as far as this scientifically. Again, set up and payoff, like every scene, but like replicated, but in a different scenario.
Now I'm actually like, pondering and thinking like about certain zombie situations.
Deep in thought.
Yeah, I am.
Oh,
he totally looks like Harry Potter right there in the
Toy Story. It's another It's Toy Story 3 all over again. Only this time there's actually stuff to talk about in each scene, as opposed to Toy Story 3, where we're just like, look at the beautiful animation and talking and walking toys.
I still haven't even seen Toy Story 3 or 4.
What? Dude, get off this wall. Well, 4, nobody cares about 4, but 3.
Hey.
4 was good.
Oh,
4 was good. I liked 4.
Oh, look, I get it. 4 is fine, and it's the best Pixar sequel out of all the mediocre fucking Pixar shit that we've gotten this decade, with the exception of Toy Story 3 and Inside Out. Those 2 are perfect, but everything else this decade was mediocre. And
I thought Inside Out was mediocre.
oh, you and I are. You want to talk about something that we'll fight over? I'll fight to the death for that fucking movie. That's the last great Pixar movie they actually did. And
okay, now you're being dumb.
I was about to say, well, just say my name to my face then. It is. That's the last great movie that they did. Coco was Incredibles 2 sucked.
Whoa!
Coco was amazing.
Yeah, I love Coco.
Coco was really
Coco
good.
is amazing.
Coco was like a Disney movie under Pixar. If I want a Disney movie, I'll watch a Disney movie.
Okay.
Zootopia felt more like a Pixar movie than a Disney movie.
But Coco was basically a ripoff of that one that came out.
Yeah, the
before
Book of
right?
Life. Thank you.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Everyone knew.
I mean, it's a similar story, but it's
something else.
I haven't seen Book of Life, so maybe that's why I like Coco so much.
Yeah, that's fair because I did see Book of Life before, and I was making the comparison.
Finally coming into his own, whacking zombies in the face.
This is what we want to see: whack-a-mole time.
Yes,
I was thinking the same thing, David.
Yeah, because obviously this is a big, very talked about point in this movie is the fact that like. It's like, what's up? What did he say? Did he say, what's up, motherfucker?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, no, he said, what's up? I think he said the N-word there.
Yeah, he sure did.
He did.
He sure did.
That's right.
I forgot he said that. I had forgot he said that.
Thank God this movie came out in 2004. Thank God the cancel crowd hasn't found this movie yet.
Oh, my God.
Man.
Oh, they will.
They're like, a British white guy using the N-word? Canceled.
That might be the first time I've ever seen a British person use that word,
right? And
in a movie. And
it totally works here.
Don't some of the black people say it in The Gentleman?
No, I'm saying like by a white character though. But
by a white character.
Okay. I was gonna say
in my subtitles, I had a Z at the end. That was pretty
funny. Mine too.
Yeah. That's right. Because that was written that way in the script.
Yeah.
Man. See, this would probably be me because I have a brewery that's literally 3 minutes from my apartment, so I'd probably just go there.
I would just hide in my attic.
Yeah,
we have a couple. Hide in my attic because freaking like that would be inaccessible to the zombies. Like even if like a bunch of zombies broke into my house and were like hovering there, they would never find my attic.
Right.
Here's kind of like the emotional turning point of the movie, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. This is definitely where it starts to get like. I mean, it's still funny, but like it definitely gets a lot more serious and somber from this point onward. Yeah, I just realized, Elliot, we haven't heard from you in a little bit, so we're about almost halfway through this movie. What are your thoughts on this movie so far?
It's the way of Elliott.
Yep.
It's fine. I mean, again, I can't really hear a lot of the jokes. So a lot of the comedy beats, I haven't really hit yet because I can't really hear a lot of the stuff. But I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, you really do have to be kind of immersed into it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I mean.
to get everything.
It's one of those situations where the dialogue is just as important as the action.
Yeah, and not have a bunch of jackasses talking over the movie.
Yeah. Probably not the best one to be recommended for watch long, especially for a first time watch. All right, we've got Angelica Cerna. What's up?
Eve!
Nick was like the only one but after me that was excited about that. But
Yeah,
what's up?
Eve? What's
Glad
going on,
that you're
Eve?
What's
here.
up, Eve?
Oh,
We all know
Eve's
Eve.
great.
We all know Eve.
Heck yeah.
Wait, for
Dom,
who
I've just been
is that?
informed that I should give you more shit on this stream, so I'm going to make sure
Oh,
that
please.
Yes!
Look, if that hasn't been like a running joke on this here, then clearly people haven't been watching the
I
show.
literally just got a DM about that. So
Nice.
Really?
I love it. I
it
wonder
may,
from
it
who.
may have been from Chris, but
I was about to say, I wonder from who. I'm like, I have a solid 3 guesses, and only one of them is probably correct. So I'm gonna take a wild shot and say it's Chris.
Oh, excuse me.
Jesus, Nick.
I realized I did that into the mic. I tried to do it away from the mic, so I apologize.
By the way, every time I see Dom's setup, I always want to go like, what do you call those mics? Just like external, I guess, or what do you?
Oh,
what
what,
do you do
this?
with the mic
This is
setup?
just
Yeah, I always want to replicate that setup that you're doing. It looks so comfortable.
I'm just chilled, man. Like
Put that leg down, Dom.
Yeah, but you look so far, like from everything, and that's like
I'm
so
I'm
peaceful.
comfy. What can I say? I mean, I have my webcam. My webcam's a wide angle, which is good.
Okay.
But like, this is how my basement is set up. Trust me, it probably would look a lot smaller in person. But I don't know. Like, I'm on my couch, which is really comfy. Like, this is just
It's
my
because
natural
his
comfy
Windows
setup to watch
95
on.
desktop won't allow him to get any closer.
Well, my 2014 Google Chromebook, but you were close. Hey, it runs this software, so that's got to mean something.
Some cool practical effects.
Oh,
by the
there
way,
goes
too. I
Cowboy.
forgot about
There goes
some of
Cowboy
those.
Boots guy from the bar.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this scene.
David, you're
Oh,
totally
this scene
right.
where they run into Yvonne.
This scene is great, yes.
Oh, it's so good.
What was that, Joe?
You're totally right with the practical effects.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I was wondering the budget too, is because it usually with I was surprised it was 6 million. I mean, you don't really have that many known actors, at least in America, to kind of.
Yeah.
Martin Freeman cameo.
There he is.
Short-haired Martin Freeman cameo.
It's gotta be so much fun for like the makeup artist here, right? To like play with something like this.
Oh, definitely.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's
what
funny
were you gonna
because you have like an opposite character for each one of their groups, like the other group.
Exactly. Like, this is just like a fun little visual gag that he just put in there, and then it doesn't come up again.
What's the guy in the glasses name again? Harry Potter guy. What's his name?
Oh, Dylan Moran is the actor's name.
No,
David
what
is
his
the actor's
character?
name.
David. I want to punch him in the face.
Always the David.
Or
He has a
four eyes,
punchable
as
face.
Sean called him. This little moment, I love this. This little moment is great.
Yeah,
that so good.
The parallels were amazing.
They were wearing the same shirt, right?
I think so.
They did. I think they did.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought.
Oh yes, another. It's like, it's simple. We just have to jump over.
Yes, this.
He thinks he's so cool, and then he just like.
That would literally be me right there. That's me.
I'm a sucker for good visual gags.
Yeah.
Like that movie Get Smart with Steve Carell was not that funny until the amount of visual gags in that movie, and then it got actually funny. Because that's the thing about Steve Carell. For the longest time, I thought that he was just friggin' like another. I thought he was gonna be like the next like visual gags guy, and then he wasn't.
I still have never seen that movie Get Smart.
It's all
pretty
right.
funny, honestly. It's pretty funny. Okay, I will say this movie is not known for its dumb moves. This move right here with the mom was a dumb move.
Oh yeah,
what she did.
All right, piss break. Be right back.
Those are allowed here.
I thought this was also cool too, is because you get to, instead of just cutting directly to the Winchester, you get to see their, see them walking and all the leading up to the Winchester.
Right.
Like the realism of like real time,
Right. Have any of you been to Walt Disney World, like Epcot and Walt Disney?
Yeah. I have.
Yes.
So this bar reminds me of in England. I think it's called like the Queen something or whatever. Every time I'm in Epcot and I see this bar, I think of this movie. Like this is where they would be crawling up to, this small little bar that everyone is just getting absolutely plastered in.
Nice.
I got to look that up because I haven't been there since I was like 12.
I will tell you though, Epcot as a legal drinker is a lot of fun. Drink around the world. It's a great time.
That's fucking just like swinging shit, just like random kids items. I love this. But like, dude, impale this motherfucker. I love that.
Oh, amazing.
Oh man, so good. This second act is just super creative because the second act is all just like breaking down just like the different settings and like, okay, what are the different things with zombies?
And
What can we do? This next scene is great.
Nick Frost is still on his phone, just always.
Yeah, Nick Frost is the first Gen Z millennial.
Hey, by the way, did you guys see the new series they're coming out with on Amazon, The Truth Seekers?
What's it actually
Yeah,
about?
I saw that.
It just seems like a paranormal, like they're trying to do a paranormal show or something, or like a webisode type of deal.
What's it on? Do you know?
It's gonna be on Amazon.
Ah, damn it! That's the one thing I don't have.
Amazon's starting to spend some money to really like beef up their content, and it's interesting.
They just got to get better at marketing. It's honestly their biggest problem. Their biggest problem has been marketing.
They've got
great
catalog.
content.
Yeah, they have a good catalog
really
of like
catalog.
especially older movies too. So like if you like older movies, definitely check out Amazon Prime.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're in talks for picking up the new Tom Clancy film that Michael B. Jordan's starring in.
I mean, that makes sense because they already have
Works.
Jack Ryan. So
right, so they're talking about the potential for crossovers and stuff like that.
like they've had some of my favorite movies. They have a couple Oscar wins. Casey Affleck won his Oscar for an Amazon movie with Manchester by the Sea.
I still haven't seen that.
I haven't
Great
either.
movie.
I didn't realize it was an
I
Amazon.
haven't
movie.
either. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Elliott, have you?
Beautiful
What was
Boy, Wiener Dog,
Manchester by the
Big
Sea.
Stick, the Suspiria remake. You Were Never Really Here. All Amazon movies.
Wait till Dom takes a breath.
Yeah. Just gotta wait until.
By the Sea.
Yeah.
Manchester by the Sea. Yeah, what about it?
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Oh yeah.
Great movie.
Okay,
Very
because
depressing.
me, Joe, and David haven't
Depressing
seen it.
film.
So we were just curious if you had.
Yeah, very depressing film.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
Very, very, very.
This is a weird comment, but I love movies like that only because I think that makes like a.
I feel like that says your personality in a nutshell, Joe.
Well, I think the filmmakers are so talented to be able to like communicate and have like the audience feel that from a film. I think that's.
I agree, Joe. Like, have you guys seen Paddleton?
Yes.
Like that movie got me hard. Like I was legit crying.
I love a good cry every once in a while. You know,
You need a good cry every once in a
I
while.
do it every day during the quarantine.
Yeah. Makes sense.
What was the last
People
movie you
wonder
cried
why
in, Joe?
turning back.
Last movie I cried in.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Mine was Paddleton, and I rewatched it with a friend, and I still cried.
Mine was not a movie. It was in my most recent rewatch of Avatar: The Last Airbender, specifically in the Tales of Ba Sing Se, when Iroh visits his son's grave, and the writers also ingeniously used that moment to pay tribute to Mako, the voice actor who voiced Iroh, who passed away.
Give me a second to think about that, Elliot.
Yeah, I don't watch the last Airbender, so I don't know what you just said.
Man, you're missing out. Everyone who's ever watched The Last Airbender, they know exactly what I'm talking about.
No, I don't. I just binged it over quarantine, and I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Oh, what the Tales of Ba Sing Se?
Like I remember the city. Yes.
No, the episode was called The Tales of Ba Sing Se. All the short vignettes.
Okay.
It was one of the best episodes, and it was super sad.
This banter is great.
Like I just felt like what. So I know in Avatar, like they're all kids, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like every single character besides Sokka and Iroh were just whiny little jerks. Like that's all they did. They whined and they complained the whole time. And but
agree to disagree.
But I'm not saying it's not a good show because I did definitely enjoy it. I'm not saying it's bad by any means, but
the only thing I will say to that is go and watch our Avatar episode where we spent 2 hours talking about it.
I will actually probably do that.
It's long, but it's well worth it. Oh, I love this. This is already a first moment. Back to the actual movie itself. This is actually like a major moment of Shaun's maturity where he finally is like, Nick, come on, man.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. And then all the zombies are
just
looking at them.
stop. You got the twin zombies too, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Elliot, you know which one it might be?
What's that?
So it's actually I'm looking at 3 on my letterbox right now that well 4 now. Wow, they're all like back to back too. So Peanut Butter Falcon was one that really got me.
Oh, so good.
Great movie. Great movie.
I grew up living with my aunt who has Down syndrome, and it just like it was like a happy cry. Like it was just like so much that kid would say, or that guy who's 32 years old, he's not a kid. What he would say, I was like, oh my God, that is spot on. And it was just, I love that movie. But then Ben is Back with Julia Roberts and
Lucas Hedges.
Lucas Hedges. How was that?
He's a great actor.
I enjoy it. I mean, it's a very raw movie, but I very much enjoyed it. And very similar to Beautiful Boy in that sense. Like Beautiful Boy with Steve Carell and Timothée Chalamet was incredible. And then Boy Erased was another one that just really got me.
Boy Erased is really good.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
And again, Lucas Hedges. Lucas Hedges is one of.
They were all the same year, I'm pretty sure.
They were last 2 years ago, 2019.
Oh, wow, okay.
Well, yeah, no. Well, the couple, Beautiful Boy and Ben is Back were 2018. Yeah, they were all 2018. So they were all 2 years ago.
Did you see Lucas Hedges and Honey Boy? Yeah,
I did.
I did.
And Honey Boy's another one that I love.
Fucking love that movie so much,
dude.
Yeah,
I remember in the first like 5 minutes of that movie, and I'm like, "Fuck, Lucas Hedges is." I'm watching Lucas Hedges, but I'm hearing Shia LaBeouf's voice come out of his mouth.
Lucas Hedges has turned out to be
he's an amazing actor.
He's a really good actor.
Between him and Chalamet, like I would pick him in a heartbeat because
I'm also really
Chalamet.
I'm also really liking what Shia has been doing. I think like.
I cannot wait for the Tax Collector.
Yeah, like I don't think the Tax Collector looks good at all, but I think Shia looks great in it.
I gotta agree with Dom. I was gonna say I gotta agree. I gotta agree with Dom. The premise itself seems very cookie cutter, but it just it's Shia. It's like I want to see what
it's the same
is
as every
happen.
other one of David Ayer's street movies.
Well,
yeah,
it's because of Shia LaBeouf, but. Yeah, I feel like all his movies were great. Like especially End of Watch, loved it.
Oh, End of Watch. Here's the thing about End of Watch. End of Watch, I feel like is a movie I would have loved if I saw it when it came out in theaters. But when I watched it, which was only like a few months ago, I was like, "This is okay. The acting's really good and it's entertaining, but this isn't really that different from like some of the other David Ayer stuff that I've seen."
See, like, I think it kind of resonated with me, so because I saw it when it came out in theaters, and I was also at the time in college for criminal justice to become a cop.
Right.
So yeah, it hit me.
Yeah.
What are some other tearjerker movies for you guys? Like Elliot, right back at you with that question.
Let me look up my last few. I know for TV shows like Dark recently got me pretty good.
Skins is a big one for me as far as TV shows go. Real tearjerker because every other season they have like one major character die, and it's always super heartbreaking when that happens.
You know what another movie is that
a cooler.
The movie itself isn't.
It is a cooler, yeah.
The movie itself isn't the best, but the book it's based on is really great. Charlie St. Cloud with Zac Efron.
I've heard great things about that. I haven't seen it.
The book is very good. The movie is like a mediocre adaptation of it, but there's some scenes in that really just whoo.
So according to Eve, Manchester by the Sea was just okay, but Michelle Williams was the highlight of the movie, which I would agree with.
Yeah, she was.
She was really freaking good in that movie. Like one scene and like absolutely earned that Oscar nomination that she got. Like 1000%. That's a pretty good. It's funny because like I've mocked almost every single year of the Oscars for this past decade, with the exception of 2013, really. But I will say that there were a few acting choices for 2016 that I was really impressed with. Like Casey winning was awesome because, like, let's face it was the only year that he could have won. But like supporting actress that year, you had Viola Davis for Fences, Naomi Harris for Moonlight, and Michelle Williams for Manchester by the Sea. That is impressive, even by best supporting actress lineup. And then my one problem though was supporting actor that year, because supporting actor ignored like all of the best performances that year. Like they ignored Jonah Hill for War Dogs, they ignored Shia LaBeouf for American Honey, they nominated the wrong person for Nocturnal Animals.
Oh, love Nocturnal Animals.
And that movie only got 2 nominations, which was a crime against humanity.
Yes,
But
100%.
I couldn't get into American Honey. I couldn't get
I
well,
into
I
it.
can understand that. It's very long and very difficult to get into, and you really don't get the point of it until like the last minute of that movie. And it's a 3-hour long movie. But
Oh, damn.
yeah,
I didn't even
really
realize
long.
that.
Yeah, it's really long, but it's really freaking good.
Now I'm thinking of all the tearjerker movies that you guys are
Yeah, I
talking
couldn't. I
about.
was looking up some last ones. It's been a while since I've seen a.
I'm
Yeah.
a Pisces.
I don't cry at movies anymore.
I was say I'm a Pisces Joe, so I cry at every single movie. Literally,
I hear you. I get you.
I'm a
It's like,
Leo, so I don't know how that applies.
there are some times where I'll be watching a movie and I'm like, what's hitting me right now? Why is this
yeah.
happening?
We always find something to relate to or like.
Yeah,
tearjerker.
especially guys like us who do nothing but watch movies.
I
Oh,
do remember. I will say, like one of my last movie experiences, I think it came out like in February or March, was Ben Affleck, The Way Back.
Oh
and
my God, I love that
movie.
dang,
Oh, that
dude.
was so good.
That movie gave me weird vibes of my uncle. Like Ben Affleck in that movie, I'm
Yeah.
like, am I watching my uncle right now? Like,
I felt like
weird. It was weird.
I felt like I was watching my dad in that movie. It was fucking. It was very relatable. It was like it was hitting me. And I mean, the fact that he dealt with alcoholism in real life, it really.
Mhm.
Yeah, it
that
was
was
like
a really good movie. That was
Very
truly-
cathartic for
Yeah,
him.
really.
Oh,
good
there
movie.
you go. There
I
you
love
go.
this movie.
Yeah, it's great.
It's so good. An excellent sports movie for sure.
Yeah,
Well, and
really
you know
good.
what the thing
It's,
was?
it's funny because the sports aspect
Is it-
that was the
is-
weakest
it's
part.
not
Yeah,
as
that's
been a lot of sports, yeah.
yeah.
Well, see, I don't like sports, so maybe that's what I'm saying. It's a good sports movie.
Right.
Yeah, they
Well,
barely
see, Gavin
scratched the surface
O'Connor,
of them.
Gavin O'Connor, that director previously did one of my favorite sports movies of this past decade, with that being
Warrior.
Warrior. Yeah,
yeah.
Oh,
Love
I
that
just
movie.
watched that for the first time not too long ago.
Fucking
Phenomenal.
great movie.
But he
That
also did
movie.
one of
You know,
the best sports movies ever in Miracle.
Miracle, yeah.
Yeah,
Miracle's one of my
Miracle is
movies.
Miracle's one of those movies that you watch in school and you're like, this is okay, and then you watch it again, you're like, oh no, this is.
I
yeah.
remember.
And then
seeing
let's
that
not
in
forget
theaters
that
and
one of the most. Yeah, and then let us of course not forget one of the most confusing movies that I've ever seen, The Accountant. Like, can any of you guys still
Was-
describe that movie with Ben Affleck?
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen it in a long time, but I don't remember it being confusing.
That movie is confusing as fuck because to me, that movie, oh no, with the coins and he's playing the fucking game. And sorry, this is leading to another one of my favorite parts of this movie. But no, with the way back, the problem is not the way back. With The Accountant, that movie is so confusing because it starts off as like a thriller, but then it like becomes like a superhero movie like Jason Bourne movie by the end of it. And I'm like, what the hell is happening here? And the premise to me is so beyond convoluted. Like, I don't know. That movie, I was just like, the more and more I think about it, I'm like, the more and more confusing that movie gets. And I'm like,
Like,
but it
I
might
remember-
just be me.
I remember enjoying it when I watched it in theaters. Again, I've only seen it in theaters, and it was once. And I remember like having a good time watching it.
So
I just remember Ben Affleck killing people.
this is one of the best
this
scenes right here. I
scene.
gotta give it to Elliot
Yeah.
real quick. You gotta watch this, dude. You gotta watch
Yeah,
this.
you got to watch this scene.
Yeah, everybody shut up.
And because he can't hear it, I could like give context, but
No.
yeah. There is
love what he
important
says.
context to this scene.
Kill the queen. I love that.
Oh, I love this.
Elliot, turn your sound up right now.
I'm a shooting star.
Yeah. Well, I just love Queen in general, so this is like a huge plus for me, a bonus. They already know how to kill him, yet they're just beating him senseless. I love that.
Oh, it's
And
so
it wasn't
good.
Killer Queen, the Queen song that's playing here. It's I love that. All the fucking like ballet dances. It's like turn it off. It's on random.
Light.
That's one of my favorite Queen songs too, and I don't. And in
Don't
the
Stop
movie,
Me Now by Queen.
yeah,
Oh, it's
in
so
Bohemian
good.
Raps,
Like,
yeah, in
this-
Bohemian
like,
Rhapsody.
this one scene encapsulates everything that I love about Edgar Wright as a director. This one scene,
I was gonna say, and in Bohemian Rhapsody, they don't even show it until the credits of
Right?
the movie.
right?
Yeah, and that was sad. It's like,
The
come on.
Queen movie didn't even know how to use one of the best Queen songs, and they're just jamming along.
I love it.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, I was watching the behind the scenes of when Simon Pegg was like rewatching the scene and breaking down everything. Like there was so much that went into it. Like the whole point, Edgar Wright wanted this scene to be like a super like tragic moment, but like done like as happily as possible. And like this, like that's the same guy. That guy's a stunt guy, and he was like 80 years old when they did this, and they let him do all this shit to him, and fucking like the way that he was editing it, the way that he specifically choreographed this scene to that song, like the way that they were hitting him, and the way they were choreographing all the movements to the beat of this song. It's brilliant. Like, and
the gun's not real.
They shove it in the jukebox. There would be scenes where they were beating the shit out of this poor old man, and Simon Pegg would just pause the scene and he'd be like, "This guy's 70, and he just let us do all this shit to him."
I love Simon Pegg is a treasure.
Oh, it's so. And then the gun goes off, and he's like, "Oh, I fucking knew it."
Knew it.
Oh man. Pay off to the Pavlov's gun technique. Real quick, who here knows about the Pavlov's gun technique? Raise of hands.
What is that? I don't know what that is.
I'm gonna say, okay, so I'll explain it. So it is another example of setup and payoff, which is where the whole idea is that I don't remember the idea. I just know that it was a Russian guy named Pavlov, based in Russian cinema, which is that if you place a gun, if you introduce a gun in a scene, then you must shoot it at some point later on in the movie. And it's a very basic breakdown of the idea of if you introduce an idea in a movie at a certain point, you have to pay it off.
See, now I want to make a movie and just have a scene with guns and then never come back to it.
Yeah, right. That is what
it comes from.
One of the many things that has led to subversion of expectations.
That comes from Pavlovian response, where like it's all about like a stimulus that gets a certain response, like it conditions a response.
Yeah.
And they've adapted that into so many different things here.
Right. Honestly, Eve, great shout out there. Great fucking underrated movie with Rachel getting married. Not watched it.
I haven't even ever heard of it. Is it a show? Is it a movie?
No, it's a movie. So it's directed by Jonathan Levine, who's the director of The Silence of the Lambs. And this is a heartbreaking thing that's coming up right here. Yeah, and it's all about like a recovering addict who leaves rehab, and like the day after rehab is her sister's wedding, and it's like all about. But here's the thing: it's not like one of those like typical Hollywood productions. Like it's the way that it's shot, it feels almost like someone's holding a camcorder throughout taping the events of this. And Rosemary DeWitt is her sister, and like it's one of those things where it's like every single time you think that like one of the characters is going to be like a Hollywood cliche, it's not. And it's revealed that like every character has baggage, and like every character is a fully fleshed out 3-dimensional character. And this scene and the way that this is built up and paid off.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Really freaking good movie. Underrated movie. To me, it's Anne Hathaway's best performance.
Oh, shit. Anne Hathaway's in it?
No. She's actually really great in this. First of all, I never understood where the Anne Hathaway hate came from, because I love her in every movie that she's been in, but she is actually fucking like great in it.
I'll give it a chance, and I hate how shit of a shot Simon Pegg is here.
Yeah, but like he's never again.
I mean, he's never shot a gun before.
They don't have guns. They've never fired a gun, but like still, like when they're this close, and it's like, dude, come on. And he uses all the bullets, and he
must be a stormtrooper.
Yeah, right. I was about to say, I'm like, did he play a stormtrooper? I'm like, no, he was Unkar Plot in Force Awakens. Oh, finally hit one.
Well, I mean, he hit a couple, just not in the head.
Yeah, just not in the head, which doesn't help when they're zombies.
No, not at all. Okay? I know we're talking about zombies. What is do you guys have a favorite zombie movie?
Oh, this is my favorite zombie movie. It's between this and Zombieland, but
totally understandable. Joe, you got a favorite zombie movie?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It's so funny. Like, as many movies as we all watch, when I get put on the spot with a question, I'm like,
no, same. Because we watch so many movies that, oh god, handing this schmuck the gun.
Yeah. I hate this guy.
Yeah. This fucking. This is ultimately the point where this guy goes from unlikable asshole to just fucking like evil.
Straight up villain.
You know what I would probably say is World War Z.
I love that, but I don't get the hate.
I really like how they handled zombies in that movie.
I don't understand the hate that movie gets. I really do enjoy that. Mine.
I haven't seen that one.
You haven't seen it? I highly recommend it.
I haven't
watch. Seen
it. Did I miss the zombie?
Okay.
Favorite zombie movie question?
That's what we're doing right now.
We're
I was just about to say mine. Yeah, Dom and Joe won. Mine. I think I'm gonna go with Return of the Living Dead.
How is that even a question? Ooh. Come on, Dawn of the Dead, 1978.
I mean,
that's quintessential one.
I like Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah, that's my second for sure. Return of the Living Dead. Super slept on. If people don't even know about that one.
Oh
Yeah, they are not movie aficionados.
Was the original Night of the Living Dead, the one black and white. That was my first horror movie. That's
Honorable mention, Night of the Living Dead, 1990.
Yeah, with Tony Todd, right?
Tony Todd, buddy.
Ooh, Tony Todd, Candyman himself. What about you, Elliot?
I have the zombie movie for you. Elliot, you go, and then I'll jump in.
Train to Busan is really up there for me. I'll probably go with it. Yeah.
Good modern one.
Zombievers. I don't know if you've ever.
Oh, Joe!
I've seen it, but
classic.
There was a short film that I saw, and I know it got made into a Netflix series with Martin Freeman.
We're not talking about porn movies. We're talking about a movie called Zombiever.
If we're gonna go Zombievers, then
Zombiever.
Black Sheep.
Black Sheep was good.
Not the Chris Farley.
No. I know what you're talking about.
The weird ass sheep movie.
I like both those movies.
Zombievers, man, that was something.
I watched that on a date one night.
On a date?
What?
Joe, my man!
Oh my God, Joe! First off,
what a weird date movie.
Actually getting dates, and second of all, how the hell do you get somebody on a date to actually watch a movie like that?
Can I just give you the summary of that movie, though? Like,
the tagline. Yeah, distracted from this horrifically sad scene that we're watching.
A group of randy college kids partying in a woodland cabin gets a nasty surprise when a horde of ferocious zombie beavers attacks.
And there's so many vagina jokes in it too, because beaver. Yeah, and it's utterly ridiculous.
That begs the good question though. Like, what is your worst date movie? I guess you guys have ever seen?
Tyler Perry's Medea's Witness Protection Program. No question.
That's a real movie? I've never even heard of that one.
That is a real movie. That was the most recent movie that he did before the Boo Medea movies. He released it in 2012. I saw that. I believe it was my first official time going to the movies with a girl. She was a girl that I knew growing up, and I thought it was a date. She did not think it was a date. And I kept texting her. She kept saying she had a good time, even though I was howling laughing in the movie. And every time I looked over at her, she was just looking there awkwardly. I'm like, do you even want to be here? And she's like, I don't know. And it was one of those. I haven't talked to her since then.
Mine was, what was that? It was a Channing Tatum movie where his wife lost her memory and he had to make her fall back in love with him or something.
Oh, I know. Dear John. No, not Dear John. Fucking wait, is it Dear John?
Is it?
Right. I think it is.
It might be.
Yeah,
every Channing Tatum rom-com blends into one for me. Oh, yeah. So satisfying.
Yeah, so I saw that with a girl, and there was not another date.
He said there was not another date.
Oh, that movie was. She was like, "This movie is amazing." I'm like, "This movie's shit." So,
honestly, this scene. Yeah. What you guys are about to see in this next scene, this guy deserves. We're almost done. This is a short movie. This scene goes by quick, but yeah.
What you guys are about to see. Please be quiet and orderly. I love that.
Right. That's great.
Now I have to look up worst date movies to see if I've seen them.
Yeah,
because I don't really know.
That was really my only bad date movie that I was in. I haven't been on that many dates to movies, but out of all the ones that I have been to, which I think it's only 5 in total, that's easily the worst. The movie itself was fun as hell, even though it's a Tyler Perry movie. But I was also 14 and didn't know any better about movies. But
movies can be trash and be fun.
Right.
I mean, I have.
I have
here
movies.
We go. Yep.
Yeah, here we go. I have movies that I really liked. I have movies that I really liked on the date, but the date itself did not like the movie. So I guess yeah. So for me, it was not Elysium, but what the hell came out? The Tom Cruise movie that was around that time.
No, it wasn't Elysium.
Oblivion. I saw that. I really liked it. My date hated it.
Okay.
So I was like, it's not a date movie.
This definitely makes the list for one of the top 10 goriest zombie kills in movies.
Yeah, that was cool. And that one actually felt like an actual zombie movie.
Stupid idiot.
Yeah. This dumb bitch. I'm like, come on.
Oh dear.
Like you know better.
Yeah, this is
Like
when
they're
they
the
started
last three
catering
standing.
toward the actual horror
They're like-
fans.
Yeah, this is where this was the only moment where it's like, okay, this like officially becomes like just a zombie horror mashup. But even then, they still managed to throw in like those little Edgar Wright-isms.
Like, and this is where I probably kill myself.
Oh, specifically with the fucking.
I always feel like people think that Molotov cocktails are just like so easy to create. Like they like if you were to accidentally drop one or like not throw it accurately, like you could just destroy your whole like crew of people around you.
Yeah.
You know, like you
It's
really have to.
little fire in a bottle.
Yeah.
Ed!
And Ed.
You thick fuck.
Even Ed bitten twice. Twice.
I thought it hurt so bad.
Right?
Like,
Especially from Pete.
ripped off by by like teeth, like human teeth, man.
Right? It's like, I said, leave him alone. Finally kills his dickhead roommate. Oh, now you actually get a shot in. It's like, quick, behind the bar. To where the alcohol is. Alcohol, our saving grace.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Wow, I'm surprised they didn't do a Joss Whedon having his head smush into her chest.
Once again, it goes back to the humanization of that. You know, Simon Pegg's character is not the most brave character. I mean, look how long it's taking him to shoot actual zombies. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
Right?
when most of us would be like, "Oh, we'll shoot them on sight just right away," but
Right? Also,
taking them a while.
Impressive reflexes too, given the imminent danger that they're in.
very true.
Very
That's
impressive
why
reflexes.
that's why it's kind of weird to see that scene and then the one previous to it.
And they try to get the
Okay.
bullet. Like, shit, we left
I'm
the
gonna
bullet on the counter.
backtrack a second to when Dom said alcohol being a saving grace. Now I know it's not a zombie movie, but have you guys seen the movie Grabbers?
Grabbers.
Mm-mm.
That sounds so familiar.
So it's an alien
shit.
movie, and the
My boy
only way.
Pete. My boy
and-
Pete just popped up in the comments. Don't Breathe is a bad date night movie. I didn't see that movie on a date, Pete.
Want to
So
get raped by a turkey baster? Yeah, no, that's a bad
yeah,
thing.
right? Yeah, bad date movie, definitely.
That might be a bad date movie, but
Yeah.
I really love that movie.
Great
But-
underrated movie, but
Yeah.
So Grabbers, these aliens, they hate the taste of alcohol. It's like poison to them. So the only way to stay alive is to be continually drunk. And it takes place in an Irish pub in Ireland.
Oh,
wow.
nice.
So in that case, the only thing that is like, okay, so what's gonna kill you first, these aliens or the alcohol? That's actually a
It's-
pretty interesting sense of
it's pretty-
sort of some
I'm pretty-
tension right there.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it's still on Netflix. It's a good watch. Highly recommend it. It's called Grabbers.
Damn.
Definitely should check it out.
This might
Hey,
be
I have
our
a que-
shortest but most fun watch along yet.
I have a question, guys. I mean, we always see situations where the best friend or whoever gets bitten, and I won't jump to the ending of what happens, but in this situation, would you just kill off your best friend knowing that they're going to turn, or would you try to hold out for some kind of cure, or just like keep a separation
I mean,
thing?
I
Like,
think that again,
Well,
like
I
how
would-
they handle it here is the absolute best way possible.
yeah.
What I would do is like if my buddy was bitten, I'd be like, do you want me to? If you want me to, I will do it for you.
Yeah, like,
I'm not
obviously
gonna
given-
make you my best friend.
Yeah.
But
Like
like,
giving them the choice obviously is the number
Yeah.
one go to, I feel like, but also in the situation where it's like, yeah, I feel like a Jim
It's
from The
tough.
Walking Dead, like what they did with him is the best situation where they're just like, yeah, just leave him. And then if you come up against him as a zombie later, you're like, yeah, you're a zombie, dude. You're not the person who I
Yeah.
knew. Boom.
exactly,
dead.
you're
I-
gone.
I feel like it's almost, and I don't mean to go super dark, but it's almost in the vein of like pulling the plug on someone that you know that has like cancer, like someone that wants the plug pulled on them.
Right.
Like,
Like,
they've
the
written it
thought
out.
of, like,
Like they've written it out. Like
Yeah.
this is a situation where it's like a year bit. Like, do you want them to? Because I can only imagine zombies actually suffer. Like they feel
Yeah.
like some kind of suffering. So it's like, would you want to take your friend out knowing that it would end their suffering? You know?
Yeah,
that quite it's the,
I
that's the
would
trick. You
because
know?
like.
It's
It's a good
tough.
question.
You really think about it, you know?
I mean, I know I've had these conversations
Damn,
like, with
dude.
friends as like like joke conversations.
Yeah.
But it's like if I ever get like into a serious accident or something, like where I'm like a vegetable and I literally can't do anything,
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't want to live that life.
I mean, I've made comments about the fact that it's like, oh my God, like if I get old enough to the point where it's like I can't do anything, just like put a fucking pillow over my face. But yeah,
Right.
I mean, I know that if I was in that situation where it's like, yeah, if I'm incapable of taking a shit on my own and I need to have somebody like take care of me in that sense, and I'm literally not even capable of like eating on my own, yeah, at that point, just wipe me out. Like
Done.
there's no point in living if you don't even like have the functions in order to operate, do
Done.
the
Deal.
basic human
Done.
essentials.
I
Got it.
totally
No
agree.
question.
I like how we're actually all in agreement on this because I've like talked
Yeah.
with some people and they're like totally opposite.
That's not even a question. Like
You're
the
like,
whole thing that I
no.
go back to is I just remember my grandpa in the last couple of the days of his life when like the cancer really got to him and he was like barely able to like even move or function. I'm like, geez, like I wouldn't even want to live at that point. I'm like, just
Yep.
fucking pull the plug,
Just
euthanize
end
me. Like
it, yeah.
that's not living. Yeah. Like seeing him like slowly waste away like that. I'm like, no, fuck that.
Here's your scene.
Yeah, but oh yeah, here we go. Another payback, another
What are you
great
doing?
payback. Callback. Oh man, it's like, no, Sean, I'm sorry. It's like, oh God. Oh,
That's not funny.
even close to becoming a zombie, he's still pulling his usual shit. Literally. Oh, I love this scene. Great scene.
That patch in his head.
Yeah. He's still got the head pick because she threw the dart into his head. Would that have killed him, or was the metal too thin?
Say it again. What was that?
No. Wouldn't the throwing the dart into his head have killed him, or is the metal too thin? Like it would have just like.
I don't think he
I
goes
don't
deep
know.
enough past the skull.
Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah, that's funny because my dad had a story when they were kids. Like, yeah, about one of his cousins or something. They threw a dart at his head. He was standing next to the board, the dart board, and it just stuck exactly like the movie.
And it was right in the side of the head. It's like, God
Yeah.
damn it. Oh man, that's what it was. Even in real life, that's hilarious. They're surrounded. There's no hope. And also, I think this is one of the few movies where there's a zombie movies where there's actually a positive ending too. Like, well, how many other zombie movies could you say actually have a positive ending? Like, think about it.
Yeah, I mean it.
I don't think
Yeah, it
any
depends
other
how you-
zombie movie that I've ever seen has a positive ending.
Yeah, it's usually a real grim, some kind of
Yeah.
wipeout
Really
scenario.
grim, just reinforcing the
Yeah.
idea of like, yeah, you're kind of just on your own. The world is screwed, so just take with what you can get. But like this movie is
Yeah.
like, no, there is a hope, kind of. I
Yeah.
guess that's the difference between like the British and American sensibilities, because the majority of the zombie movies that we've seen are American movies, and American movies typically do have like that very, very grim, like sense of
Mhm.
like kind of very, what's the word, pessimistic viewpoint. But like the rest of the world tends to slightly have a more optimistic viewpoint, unless you're Bong Joon-ho. That's like a special case. Then you're just a guy who just stabs a rich guy, and then hides in a bunker for the rest of his known life.
God, I love
And then
that movie.
hallucinates about getting to see his son again. But
I
again,
love that movie.
That's a very specific scenario right there. It's still a great movie, but
Yeah.
yep. And weeks later, after all that doom and gloom, now zombies
I
are
love
just like
the TV.
the latest
I-
social
I
media.
love-
Zombies are just like
I
the latest
love it.
social media phenomenon,
I don't remember them
Now-
spending that much time in the Winchester. The
right?
first time I saw it, but
Yeah, but like they're only there for like a few nights. Now they're just like there was like random like just they're like reality show jokes. Now
I love the.
that was a
I love
crazy
the
couple
concept.
days. And now they're like, yeah, now everyone's an expert on zombies, and they're like, yeah, they were never a threat to begin with.
So completely offbeat, and not to go political, but just to bring this up, I think it's really funny. They're the federal whatever went into Seattle, and the protesters fought back the tear gas with leaf blowers while playing the Imperial March.
Oh,
right.
my gosh.
No, and also I love how they're using and again, I don't know like whether anyone can comment on like this movie's political sense, but like how they're using zombies for like all menial jobs, like pushing shopping carts and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah, the way they played it off was really fun. Didn't they do that in another movie
Yeah.
where it's like they kind of use the zombies for other things, I guess?
I think so.
I
Like
feel
now
like
that you
they've done
mention it,
that
I'm
before.
vaguely remembering that as being another thing.
Like
but
after this movie came out, obviously, but
maybe. And again, just like how this movie replicates.
I'm pretty
scenes.
sure they did, but
Well, now it's Liz, and now Shaun is officially grown up. Arc fulfilled.
Well, that was
zombie apocalypse, and brings
that
us
was
back to what this movie was all about.
That was almost what they tried to do with was it Day of the Dead, the second George Romero, where they try to like kind of
Dawn of the Dead
zombies.
was second, and then was it was
Well,
yeah, and then it was Day of the Dead was
Day of the
third.
Dead, yeah, the third. I'm sorry,
Was third,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, where they try to like not conform, but they try to like kind of reverse the process almost.
Well,
Like
the whole
like
thing was,
normalize them.
isn't it like the one zombie started to like actually remember stuff from before, right?
Yeah, they're playing music and stuff. Yeah, to him and
Yeah, where they had
all
like a
that.
trumpet and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what one was that? Day? No, not Day.
Technically, that was
Day.
technically that was the third
Day.
one. Yeah,
That
that was
was
Day.
Day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Day.
So here's the big reveal
man.
that he kept him as a friend. Like
Right, that he kept him.
I
Yeah,
love it. And then he goes
as a pet, but yeah,
it is a fun ending,
and
but
there you go.
it's like
this movie, it's endless. I feel like it's endlessly rewatchable.
So
And I feel like a lot of Edgar Wright's movies are that way. Honestly.
yeah, it's just like it's got that pessimistic world viewpoint, but at the same time, there's still movies at the end of the day, and the movies kind of like never remember that. You know, it's funny in thinking of this. It reminds me of another very recent directorial debut, that being Get Out, which is the idea that Get Out obviously had that original ending that was obviously a lot more pessimistic and a lot more serious and a lot more real world-esque. But at the last minute, Jordan Peele was like, nah, we still got to remind our audience that this is a movie that we're watching. And so we eventually did the ending that we saw in the theatrical cut, which is obviously Little Howery picking up Daniel Kaluuya at the house and being like, we're TS motherfucking A. We know shit. You know, like that, whatever that line was. You guys know what line I'm talking about.
yeah.
And this kind of reminds you of that, where it's like, yeah, this movie, for as funny as it is, it still has like a lot of doom and gloom and like zombie cliches at the end. And so
that's why I think it's one of the best horror comedies, because it blends the comedy and it has that depressing horror vibe to it. Still, it doesn't really. I mean, it leans a little more towards comedy, but the way it implements the horror, I feel like, is super well done.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, like, I guess, like, before we get into obviously the rest of this panel, so Elliott, the man who's never seen this movie before, like, obviously bare bones, obviously weren't able to get like the full scope because like couldn't hear most of it. But like, what were your thoughts initially after seeing this movie for the first time? You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's this was the fear I had. That obviously, it's a lot of people high, best zombie
hype it up.
Yeah, so
it was gonna happen.
It was. From what I was able to see and gather from the film, I mean, I can see the rewatchability factor of it all, and I don't think it's breaking the wheel and bringing something new as far as something I've never ever seen before. But I mean, I can see why everyone kind of loves it, because again, it has if you're a big Edgar Wright fan, you love his vibe, his tone, his energy, his pacing on the film, and of course, if you're a big fan of Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, and I can see where the love comes in. But I'll have to rewatch it again and definitely pick up all the stuff I maybe missed through this watch along. But I can see the hype, but it just it didn't sit with me then this watch through. But I'll definitely check it out again and give a little bit more further thought to it.
Yeah, I would definitely love to hear your thoughts after you watch it again. Actually sit down and can actually watch it. I would love to hear what you think.
Yeah, like I said, the whole thing with me is the majesty of this movie. I will admit, I did not fully feel until I watched this like 2 or 3 more times. Like the second time I watched it, I was like, okay, now I get it. And then the third time I watched it, I was like, oh my God, this movie's fucking brilliant. But that wasn't until like years after I watched it. Like the first time I watched this movie, I was like 15. I'm like, okay, this is a cool zombie movie that's like better than most of the other zombie movies of the genre. So David, after this, how many times have you watched this movie now? Like, what are your thoughts post this movie?
Man, at least over 10 I've watched this movie. And it's like I said, I'm still collecting like the physical media, even though I usually watch it like on a digital or like some kind of streaming or something like that. But I really do like this movie. It is the quick, clever writing, the quick editing style of everything that we talked about before. And I think it's one of those where it's like you either think it's a cult classic or you don't, because the only other horror comedy that I like besides this movie is Deathgasm, which came out a couple years ago. So if you guys haven't seen Deathgasm, it's fucking brilliant, and they're coming out with a sequel.
Deathgasm?
I can't hear a single word you guys are saying. Say it again. One at a time. One at a time, please.
There's going to be a sequel?
Oh yeah. It's right. It's been in the writing for sure, but
because I appreciated the first one. Like I enjoyed it. I wasn't gonna say like it's not groundbreaking or anything, but I definitely enjoyed my watch of it.
if you like metal music and zombies, you will like that. I know you do.
That's why I'm getting here.
Yeah.
So thank
David,
you for that.
literally the only thing that I'm interested in here. The movie is called Deathgasm,
and it has very Necronomicon feels.
It was on Netflix
okay.
for a little bit.
Yeah, I was on Netflix for a little bit, but I have the Blu-ray in the other room. But other than that, like I said, it's very hard to blend the genres. You know, when it comes to anything, comedy and action, like Rush Hour, you have your couple of hits, right? Lethal Weapon and stuff
Predator
like that.
Is a good example.
True.
Anything that Shane Black does, really.
Yeah, true. But when it comes to
Not
that
Predator.
Well, not the Predator that he directed, the original Predator that he wrote an improv one line for.
To me, it is very hard to blend the genres sometimes where it becomes almost overbearing, like a parody. But I think this film itself did it very well, and I'm a very big supporter of the movie. I love these two guys. I think it comes down to the characters of Nick Frost, Simon Pegg. I just love their chemistry, and that's why I love this movie and the trilogy itself so much. Yeah.
No, absolutely. I mean, Frost and Simon Pegg together, they're an actual dream team, and when they're together, they're just able to play off of each other so well that whatever they do, I will watch no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, they have a big part, and as you can see, at least on the part where I have a pause in the credit. Yeah, Simon Pegg actually he has a writing credit on the script. He helped Edgar Wright come up with this idea, and him and Nick Frost, they have a chemistry that is unrivaled, that is rivaled by very few in Hollywood and just in general in the movie sphere. So I guess moving around in this and the rest of this table, Nick obviously being, I would argue, like just as vocal as me throughout this entire watch long. But so your final thoughts on this movie? Has it changed anything? Like giving you any like new sources of view on this movie or?
No, I feel like every time I watch this movie, I just gain more of a, I don't know if respect is the right word. Appreciation. I gain more of an appreciation for this movie every time I watch it. And I've seen this movie, I don't even know how many times, so many. And I love it, I adore it. I love showing it to people who haven't ever seen it before and just watching it with them to see their reactions. I love this movie and everything Edgar Wright does. I fully support him, and I will watch whatever he comes out with next. So
here's hoping that theaters open in time for us to actually be able to watch Last Night in Soho in theaters. Fingers crossed. And coming around the table to my arch rival, my future community office debater, but let's face it, everyone, he's really my secret admirer. Come on, let's not kid ourselves here. Joe.
Statement. That's a bold statement.
I had to put it out there.
You can put it out there. It's not going to
there's
stick
been
to
enough subtle
anything.
comments here. Come on, everyone's going to be waiting for like the steamy, like secret romance anime of like Dom and Joe's adventures off on the side. Joe,
what did I miss? What did I miss?
All right. You know what?
Oh no!
Oh damn!
What did I miss?
Oh damn! He shut off the camera. Oh no! I've driven him to the breaking point.
What's your damn
Anyway,
question?
Joe, what are your final thoughts on this movie, Shaun of the Dead? Aside from my very random tangents,
My final thoughts are thus: 1, Dom, you're insane. 2, Last Night in Soho has already been moved to April 23rd, 2021. Fun fact.
Fingers crossed, theaters are open by then.
And this movie, honestly, I think is a lot of fun. I hear what Elliott said, and I totally understand that first watch, and also listening to us all talk about it really distracts from the film itself. But this was a film that I gained more appreciation for as I watched it more and more, because there are such little things that it does that are just smart comedy that isn't necessarily always at the forefront of the frame, but is in how they set something up or, the payoff later on. So I do agree that I think the two main actors, Nick Frost and Simon Pegg, are absolutely great together. That's why they've done so many movies together, right? Like they know that they have something. So to me, it's one of those movies. I always go back to when I was younger and we would like be flipping channels. My dad's a big like TV guy, and if he would find a movie that he liked on TV, we would watch it again, like no matter how many times we've seen it. And this is one of those that I'm very happy to watch anytime I see it on or anytime I have the opportunity to, just because I think it's a great movie.
Couldn't have said it better, Joe.
Absolutely. And despite our our off-screen adventures together. Yes, I do agree with everything that you
What
just
the
said.
frig are you talking about?
I had to bring it up. I have to give our audience things to hit that. I'd be like, ooh, drama. Because these are the things that the internet craves, Joe. You don't understand.
I'm about to take like a protection from abuse order out on you or something.
Oh, man. Oh, a restraining order? Oh, go ahead.
No,
go
protection
right
from
ahead,
abuse.
dude.
We're not doing restraining. We're going to the next level.
Oh, man. No, don't restrict our fun. It's just playful banter here. No, but back to the actual topic of the discussion.
I'm freaking dead right now, man. Oh
I know. I will vote that this is probably our most entertaining watch along that we've had yet. Again, nice short little movie, but yeah, this movie is still great. It holds up arguably better now than it did when it came out. It's my favorite zombie movie. I definitely feel like, again, agreeing with what Joe said, this movie definitely does get better with the rewatchability. Because the thing is that this movie, to me, is a movie that is designed for rewatchability, like every one of Edgar Wright's movies. Like, there are setups and payoffs and little micro jokes here. And literally, like, this is a movie that had Easter eggs before Easter eggs became like a popular thing, like in modern day pop culture. Like, there's so many different little bits and pieces that you could pick up on here. Like, again, like I keep making, I really, Joe, this is the one point I seriously am trying to not draw as many references, but literally to the point where this movie has gotten like its bit in movie cult classics. When there was a moment in the Community zombie episode where they specifically reference this movie with when Jeff throws the chair through the glass and Annie gets attacked by all the zombies. Like, that is a moment that they pulled specifically from this movie with when the zombies break through the glass and attack Dylan Moran's character. It's a great movie. I absolutely love it. It introduced us to Edgar Wright as a filmmaker, and he would arguably only get better from here, with the exception of Hot Fuzz. So I give this movie, again, it's not a perfect movie, but it's just as close to me. So that's why I give this 4.5 out of 5 stars.
Did you like it before Community referenced it, or was it a discovery?
Yes, I did.
after?
I did like it before. I did like it before Community reference. I watched this long before I ever knew what Community was.
That's what made him love Community, is just that reference.
When are we having
just
this
that
community
reference alone?
debate, by the way? When are we having this community?
Well, soon. We're still
discussion?
trying to figure out it's at this point it's mostly just a scheduling thing and just
Because
making sure that
I kind of want to be part of this.
watch the majority of it. I'm trying
to force myself. I'm trying to force myself to watch it, but it's really hard. I will.
Why is it so hard? Like, I really do have to figure this out from you guys off screen.
See, I was able to binge it. I was able to binge Community, and did I like what I watched? Yes, I laughed and everything. But I have to say, Community versus Office. I'm going Office all day long, hands down, no questions asked.
I really might be fighting this battle by myself. The more and more that I hear from it.
Yeah,
Can we do It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia versus The Office?
Oh, I love Always Sunny.
I love Always Sunny. Always Sunny is so good.
That's it's more fair, you know?
Team Always Sunny right here.
Because Community is always is so much of a niche thing, you know? But anyway, so going around the table now, wrapping this up. Guys, this is a blast. I'm absolutely glad that despite Chris not being here, I was still able to get all of you guys here. So let's just go around, wrapping it up. Final thoughts on this movie, final star rating, and then plugs, obviously, because plugs, that is what is important here. Ankit, thank you for showing up and continuing to show the support overall. And wow, you're telling me to leave him alone.
Thank you, Ankit.
Telling me to leave him alone. Okay, I see how it is. I see where the loyalties lie here.
Oh my gosh, I fucking love it.
Starting with the man himself, Elliott. Final 5-star rating, final rating of this movie, and where can the good people find you on the interwebs?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, again, Dom, even though Chris isn't here, man, I always love joining you guys' channel and, having these great banters of these films. So, again, thank you for having me on tonight, man. As far as ratings go, it's kind of hard to rate this film just because, again, I didn't get a full, in-depth, sit down, no commentary. So I will probably go maybe a 3.5 for what I'm feeling right now because the jokes that I was able to catch, and you can see the bromance between the two characters, and then the emotional beats. It didn't hit me because I didn't see those character development moments as far as him and his relationship with his mom and whatever the stepdad thing was. So there's little things that I missed that I, will definitely pick up on when I watch it again. So 3.5 out of 5. But yeah, as far as where you guys can find me, I'm on the YouTubes as often as I can be. As far as movie reviews, TV reviews coming soon. I finally binge watched the first season of Umbrella Academy in preparation for the Umbrella Academy season 2, which I'll be dropping pretty soon. And then Q&A tomorrow, 3 p.m. Central Time. Ask me anything type of thing. I love having those live streams, so definitely tune in tomorrow. And then, of course, on Instagram, Twitter, Ladderbox, Facebook, Stardust, all those websites, all those social media accounts. You guys can find me there. But again, Dom, thank you for having me on, and it's always a pleasure.
Got it.
Joe, and Nick, and of course David. So it's always a pleasure, guys.
Elliott, first off, props to you for still being on Stardust. I didn't realize that app was still a thing because I got out of that like 3 years ago, and I still sometimes get emails from them. It's crazy. Anyways, David, the one, the only, the man who exists in order to try and still make sure that physical media exists and it is owned by him. Where can the good people find you, and what is your final thought and rating on this movie?
Well, before I get into all of that, I mean, don't knock physical media, guys. I actually got offended. I think I brought this up last time, but someone commented, who still gets physical media? I do. And there's a whole reason for holding these things in your hand. You know, it's not only for the fact that the internet might give out at one time or another, but it's I'm paying for the artwork. I'm supporting the production companies. I'm supporting the actors. There's so much that goes into buying physical media. As Elliott knows, he buys a lot of physical media as well. But that's for a whole nother podcast. But Shaun of the Dead, guys, to me, through and through, is a 5-star. And I think Elliott will appreciate it once he immerses himself watching it again. Once again, the funny little, writing, the situations people get into, and once again, the bromance and stuff like that. It is hands down just like a solid movie, I think. As far as bending, the two genres. But what I have coming up, like I said before, is some more, just kind of out and abouts where I'm just hunting for DVDs, Blu-rays, even 4Ks, as well as I got some giveaways coming up. So I look forward to that on my Instagram page. And Elliott and I every Sunday do the weekly wrap up. So there's a shameless plug right there. Every Sunday. That's as much production value. Okay, it already got messed up.
I was about to say, you already messed up your great little display there.
I'm like 5 beers deep. Give me a break. But no, so we do a weekly wrap-up show of TV and movie news, streaming news, just kind of what's been going on in the last week. And we just kind of do like a 2-hour podcast, and it's on my YouTube at Flix Talk, and you can find me on Instagram at Flix Talk, FLIX Talk. So that's where you can find me and all of the things that I have going on.
Exactly the way that you see it in the little section right there. You guys can't see the mouse that I have hovering over the screen because I'm the master in control here. But just pretend like there's a little mouse hovering over David's name, and next to it says Flix Talk, and that's where you can follow him. Next person in the panel, at least from where I'm seeing it, Nick of Bearded Film Reviews, with the beard to match the name. Where can the good people find you, and what is your final rating on Shaun of the Dead? And overall, more importantly, what is your final rating of that beer that you just drank during this thing?
Founders Cerise gets 5 beards out of 5 beers. This is a phenomenal cherry ale. Oh, absolutely love it. Highly recommend if you can find it. And again, first I want to say, like David, I am also a physical media collector. My coworkers call me Nick Flix because I buy movies and then I give them to them to watch. I don't care what it is. I tell them, hey, you're going to watch this. And they do. So no, physical media, I feel like still needs to stay alive. I love it. I won't live without it. So there's my shameless plug for that. No, Shaun of the Dead, I adore. It gets 9 beards out of 10 from me. One of the best horror comedies. Absolutely love it. And before I go, I also want to thank Talkin TV Podcast, for having me on this. Every time I'm here, I have a phenomenal time and hanging out with all of my friends here. Elliott, David, Joe, you, Dom, phenomenal people. Hopefully I can return sometime in the future. This has been so much fun. Thank you very much.
Well, as long as you continue to have that beard, you will absolutely continue to join here. Thanks once again.
Thanks, Dom. Appreciate it, buddy.
Of course, you're welcome. And of course, my friendly neighborhood co-rival. I couldn't think of any other colorful vignettes. The one, the only guy at the movies himself, Joe. What is your final thought on this movie? On me. And what is your and where can the good people find you on the interwebs? I'm almost only done with my third beer, and I'm already drunk. Let's do this.
My final thought.
God, I'm
is,
7 beers deep.
It's obviously a little past your bedtime, so we'll wrap this up a little bit. No, I like all the things I said before. I enjoy this movie in a lot of different ways. For me, it's a 4 out of 5. I don't do 0.5s and stuff, but 4 out of 5 is definitely a solid film for me. It's not a perfect film in my eyes, but I think the comedy is there, and they really push the envelope a little bit. And as we were talking about a little bit, I think Dom, you may have stepped away at this point, but talking about films that are plays on more serious films or more serious genres, and the way that they really pay homage to them in a comedic way is really this is one of the ones that I think really does that really well. So really fun movie. Where you can find me, GuyattheMovies.com for all the latest movie news, GuyattheMovies on Instagram, and podcast on Tuesday evenings with Math Teacher Movies. It's the Guy at the Movies podcast with Joe and Shaun. We talk all things movies, movie news, all that jazz, and a lot of fun topics there. But that comes out every Wednesday morning on any podcast platform at 7 a.m. But on Tuesday nights, what we're doing is a live stream recording of it at 9 p.m. Eastern. Other than that, a couple fun things coming up. There is a big event that I've been teasing for about a week now, actually. But be making an announcement hopefully on Tuesday about an event coming up at the end of August that I'm really pumped for. And some people on this call right now, or this chat right now, are involved in that. So we will talk about that down the road. And then tomorrow with Comic-Con heading into its, 4th day, I believe it is. And then Justice Con. So I'm an unapologetic DC movies fan. And Justice Con has been going a couple years now. But tomorrow, Zack Snyder and them are going to be talking about the upcoming Snyder Cut and some other stuff there. So I will be doing some lives about that on Instagram and following all that. Literally sitting on my ass on my couch, just watching all this fun content that is out there for us while we're in quarantine. So once again, Dom, thanks for having me. Thanks for inviting me this morning. It's been a lot of fun and always a great time to hang with all these great people. The best part of doing this are the people that you meet, right? And these are great accounts to follow. So I hope everyone drops a like, a subscribe, and a follow for everyone that's here.
Hell yeah, dude.
Thanks,
and the biggest
Joe.
question
You're
that I
welcome,
have,
man.
thank you, Joe. The biggest question that I have about those cons that are going to be watching is Justice League, the Snyder Cut. Will it actually be different from the original theatrical cut? Will we actually get a different movie, unlike the Batman versus Superman extended cut, which is what was promised? And then that was almost the same movie, except with a few extra deleted scenes. But that's a whole different thing.
Except for another half hour, number one. And number two, with Justice League, you got a 2-hour movie, and you're getting an at least 3.5-hour movie with Zack Snyder's Justice League. Zack
Snyder, that could either be great or terrible. There's literally no in between.
We obviously know where you're falling on that. So
yeah, just a little bit. But I've already made my thoughts on Snyder very clear. I'm very biased as far as that. I'm also biased when it comes to my own personal kind of guys. Thank you once again for tuning into this channel. This is, of course, the Talkin TV podcast. This is usually the part where I would have Chris in to plug some of this stuff, but it's just me here, Dom, the movie nerd, one half of the glorious duo that is the Talkin TV podcast. Where are we? You can find us on YouTube under our name, Talkin TV. It's right there in the corner there. It's that little neon logo there. No G. Please leave a like and a comment and a subscribe. Thank you so much for being here for yet another watch along. We love having you guys here. We love doing these. It's a lot of fun. It really, really is. But mostly, I just like any excuse to be on camera and talking about stuff. So as long as you guys are here to allow me to do that, then I will happily continue to do so. We're also on social media. Follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, at Talkin TV, no G. And guys, from myself, from Nick, from Elliott, from Joe, from David, from Nick. Shit. I had to make sure. I just literally trying to remember which names I said. No, that wasn't a thing against you. I literally just had to remember which names I said. I'm like, shit, which names have I said and which names haven't I? That was a really bad use of my short-term memory right there. I promise.
Chris is never letting you do this again.
Seriously, Chris, never let me do this again.
Chris, please tell me you're watching this right now.
But guys, watch more fucking movies. Seriously. There's nothing else to do right now because we're still in quarantine. Peace out.
See you guys. Thank you so much.
Have a good night,
Appreciate
guys.
it.